Hello and welcome here. We're ready to go with the start of the NACE Star League of Legends series. I know it says week 7, but that is only week 7 of NACE. We are here with week number 1 of League of Legends, and I'm very, very excited to be here to kick things off. My name is Orbital. With me is the ever so lovely Shen. Shen, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. So very excited to start NACE Star League week 1 for League of Legends. I myself, when I was seeing all the broadcasts on NACE, I was like, where's my league? Where's my league? I need to watch my league. And to be here once again alongside you, it's super, super amazing.
We may or may not be addicted to League of Legends. It's one of those relationships that you love to hate and you hate to love at the same time. But watching is fantastic. That's all I'm going to say here. So we're excited to get underway with match number 1 here. It is going to be Waterloo versus MIT, and I'm very, very excited to see it. And then afterwards, we are going to have a phenomenal Smash Brothers matchup here between Central Washington University and University of Advancing Technology. That'll be played directly after this best of 3. So make sure to tune in for that as well and enjoy all the action here this lovely, lovely Monday evening.
Yes, and we have the rosters on the screen already. University of Waterloo with Regretful Angel, Senpai Cheese, Lex123, Scrim, and Int Overflow. On the side of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Best Shot, Miliana, Bankerman, Dog Wars the Crazy, that's the one, IG Reaper to finish this one off. And as we can see, O&O, this is the first week of NACE League of Legends.
Yep, and I'm very, very excited, right? This is going to be so much fun. We don't have too much information, but for those that may have tuned in last semester, University of Waterloo have played before in the league, and they were able to take a nice little setup here. I think it was, they were 4-2 in the Swiss bracket, so this time around they are looking to actually continue on in an actual series and in an actual league here. And I say that with all the love of my heart because Swiss bracket, you can only do so much, and you know, all that stuff. You want to play a full series, you want to get into the action, you want to go ham and have a lot of fun. So hopefully we have that here tonight. Again, best of 3 games to see how strong you are and if you can beat your opponent.
Yeah, Orbital. And one thing we noticed that in regards to both teams is that Waterloo has a little bit of an advantage in rank. We have Grandmasters and Masters, and on the side of Massachusetts you have Diamonds, Top Diamonds. So we'll see if these Top Diamonds can even beat the Masters and Grandmasters as we jump right into this draft.
Yep, and already we can see some targeted bans here. I love it. So for Waterloo, they will not be allowed to play the Veigar and the Zerion. Both of these champions can be very, very frustrating to work against, especially Veigar recently buffed with the range advantage on the Q and Ws. Now looking to get nerfed as well. My poor short king getting up and down the ladder there. It's very, very sad. But the Nami ban against MIT, that is a very specific ban that, you know, we've seen rise in solo play, but normally you pair it with the Lucian.
Yes, I would definitely say that. I think it's one thing that you're going to target because you want to take down the Lucian Nami bot lane. Or if you take down the Nami, it's probably that it's possible that the enemy is not going to pick the Lucian themselves. Tristana, interesting. I haven't seen those little Yordos. So we have 2 of them already on the table. I know how much you love Vega, so it saddens your heart to see those going into the ban section. It's going to be Victor for the last ban of the first phase for MIT, and Waterloo deciding on the last one. Do you think it might be possibly a jungler?
I mean, it could be a jungler, but at this point, it feels like they're leaving it very, very open here. So Waterloo might just opt to actually pinch that mid pool a little bit more as well, or pinch out the bottom side. As much as you're excited to see, you have red side picks, so you're okay leaving open or not. Okay, so the Sejuani ban here, you called it soft. You said, hey, it's a jungle possibility, and yes, Sejuani has been on the rise and has been very, very strong here. So taking that one away, not allowing it to be first pick. The Cassiopeia pickup, though, okay, so a little bit unorthodox, but still a strong pick currently. A lot of great utility to be able to play around with, especially with the Miasma, the slows, and the Petrifying Gaze.
Yes, I was just going to say that the Petrifying Gaze in some way could be similar to the sort of CC that you have with Sejuani in her Glacial Prison. So interesting that they're going for that one in the mid lane. Caitlyn, love to see her, our Sheriff of Piltover, in the side on the side of Waterloo. Oh my god, is it going to be Lux as well? Oh, literally one of my favorite combos. Caitlyn Morgana or Caitlyn Lux just works so well. We'll see if this is going to be confirmed after hovering, but I am excited for it.
You know what? You can love it all you want. I've seen enough of this lane that I'm just like, no, I'm good. Get something new out here. And thank you. Okay, so you're not going to pick up the Lux just yet. Thank you, Waterloo, for not giving me that absolute cringe. But at the same time, it is so good, right, Soft? You are so right. The Caitlyn Lux is such a pain, but you're also expecting that. So Waterloo don't want to give it away. They're showing what could come out. But instead you say, okay, we take away the Wukong. It's such a strong jungle pickup. It's great engage. Of course, that is going to leave open the Vi, and that's been kind of the answer back to be able to access that back line. So Vi, you're going to be hovered here and locked in. Now you're looking possibly for your own ADC. MIT going to have to either match or look for a staggered ban phase number 2.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to go on that bot side of the map. I definitely agree with you. It's going to be... Oh, okay. We have definitely a Piltover matchup if Jinx is locked in, and she is. Look at that. The two sisters against the lover of Vi. There we go.
Oh man, well, you know, Vi and Jinx on bad terms in the sibling situation there, but very, very true. But because the Jinx was locked in, because there is no jump in, which is what you're really waiting for, you're waiting to see if maybe even a Varus would come out to lock you down, which Varus has been the answer to the Caitlyn most times. You see that you're safe. You're not so safe from the Vi though, but you are planning and saying, hey, the Vi will not be able to access us. We will have priority on the bot side, so we're going to force you into a deficit. And now you get to ban away the enemy support champions, and immediately Lulu is off the table.
Yeah, Lulu pairs so well with Jinx, doesn't it, Optal? I think it's one of the best ones that you can have in a bot lane with her. Yumi has been banned, has been nerfed, but used to be so great as well. Something that enables the Jinx to be able to move fast across the map and have that support with shielding or healing. The next ban is going to be the Darius or MIT, so they're narrowing down their top lane potential. What do you think could pair well with the Jinx in this scenario, since Lulu is not on the table, for example?
So you could actually still take a look at Yumi. Yumi is still quite fun. Any sort of bolstering is what you're hoping for, right? You are hoping to have that bolster in the back, and that's another one, right? The Soraka coming out here and, you know, being banned away. That Jinx now has almost no viable safety. If anything, you just go with the Janna, and you just say, screw it, we're just going to have to try and play safe, hold off, which... I mean, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to play a Janna into a Lux Caitlyn. You just get poked out, but... if you're just looking for shielding, that might be it. You could even fall back to the Karma. There are some very slim options, but honestly, the Lulu was such a high priority for some people.
Yeah, Camille going to be the last one. Very nice. I think that is great if you're going to narrow down the top lane as well. Maybe we could see some Ornn coming into play. Maybe some Ilaoi. I've seen that in collegiate play recently. Super strong. If you get people around those tentacles, it can be just massive destruction. So love to see that happening. We are still waiting for those top picks. Mid lane might be Ahri. And so far, I feel like Waterloo lacks a little bit of bulk. They lack the front line. They have the Wukong. They can go Tornado on them. But can they do more aside from that? Because all of the rest of the champions are more towards picking people off, aren't they?
It is true. At the same time, if you're going for a siege comp, it's not absolutely necessary that you had the front line, right? You just needed a way to get away and a way to kind of scatter. It's the guerrilla warfare tactic. But I do agree, if you pick up a Wukong, you want someone that can follow up, which is why the Ahri is there. For MIT, though, we were talking about the Karma, the possible Janna. There are so many other options, but the Rakan, having seen a rise in prominence, has been picked up here. It is going to be nice. And there we go, the Poppy to come out as well. MIT drafting a clearly defensive comp against the Wukong. The thing is as you said, Waterloo not really having that front line, which in turn means they're not going to be diving in as heavily as you might expect.
Yeah, and when you have the Ahri, when you have the Wukong, and especially when you have such an oppressive bot lane as Jinx Caitlyn, you want to be able to get the dominance in the lane, direct yourself for the Drake, secure that, and maybe even apply some pressure in the mid lane if things are going super well, being a Caitlyn Lux, especially with the Ahri too. I think they could fall behind. Cho'Gath, all right, that's very unique here, going against the Poppy. What are your thoughts on that one?
So Cho'Gath has also come back around as a champion that's been so frustrating to play with, and I love it. I love the Cho'Gath pickup here. It is so much fun. Cho'Gath can be a beast of a tank if you're not careful. If you allow him to feast up, if you allow him to scale up into the late game, he is that brutish HP soaking tank that you know and love, and also that rupture, the silence, the scream, and then the Vorpal spikes. There is so much utility inside of his kit that if you get any sort of ability haste, he can spam that for days. He can silence you, he can slow you. It's very, very nice. The way you deal with the Cho'Gath, though, is you pin him down early. You do not allow him to farm. You don't allow him to pick up any minions. So if anything, the Vi has quite a few different choices. Bot side might be a bit difficult, but if you so wish, you could try and look in that top side, bully out the Cho'Gath, and allow the Poppy to start roaming out with you and deal with the Wukong. But for MIT, I mean, the Cho'Gath stops a lot of stuff that you were hoping to do.
Yeah, it really does. I think it's an interesting pick. I think you pointed out some amazing aspects that Cho'Gath has on their kit, and I think it can wrap up really a nice composition for Waterloo in this one. I was a little worried with what they would pick. I think Owen would have been really good, especially with the upgrade on the items in the later game when you'd have an upgraded Rabadons or Ludens on the hands of those APCs there. That would have been massive. But I really like it if you let the Cho'Gath farm, as you mentioned. That could be very, very nice. I agree that Vi might have a difficult time in the bot lane. You have Caitlyn with the 90 caliber net. You're gonna have a hard time getting past those snares from Lux too. So maybe it's just a case of trying to get on top of that Cho'Gath and not leaving them anything to be able to farm and scale. But I think all things considered, that's all that we can talk about for now for the draft. And if you are ready for a break, Orbital, then I am ready as well.
Yeah, we'll go ahead, send it to a quick break. We'll ensure that the teams are ready to go and ensure that they get into the game very quickly. So please do not go anywhere. Nace Star League will continue with game number 1 of this best of 3 between Waterloo and MIT to kick off this Monday evening. Don't go anywhere.
versus MIT. We had the draft already broken down with analysis, and we had some opinions in regards to positioning that one team will probably have to have because of that composition, and we'll see how that's going to be played out in the early stages of the game. So draft finished, we should be jumping into the game soon enough.
Yep, it should be happening soon. And again, for Waterloo, they're a team that we really want to watch for because they have the siege composition added on top of a little bit of bruiser heavy momentum, right? They have the Cho'Gath and they have the Wukong. These are two champions that are able to either set up a fight or blockade a fight is the best way I put it. And then you have the siege behind it. You have the Lux Caitlyn that was not picked against. It was allowed to be carried over. And then you have the Ahri in the mid lane to roam around as well. So there's a lot of value in these picks, but I'm very, very curious as we already see a little bit of a binding here. And they're going to pick just a little bit of extra damage.
Yeah, some damage there on the Arcane Comet. Nothing so far that can be accounted for like a big engage or a 5-stack. There, everyone just scouting around the area, securing the entrances to the jungle. Nothing much to report.
It's a start. It's a simple start. So we will maintain this status quo and hope to see some very, very fun action coming out because again, this start here, some of these champions breed early game action, right? The Wukong and the Vi both have gank potential. Was that a reset? Oh, that's unfortunate. Did the Vi accidentally reset the camp?
Oh, I didn't notice. Really didn't notice, but we can definitely see that it might be the case considering that they're still there in the blue buff. Oh my god, that is very unfortunate as a start for MIT.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at things as again, it's been simple. It's been very, very quiet. No one's really been going to ham, but there it is. Overflow sand. Let's go ahead and knock some heads here. The Lux being an absolute pain in the butt, and the Cho'Gath deciding to get extra damage. So it's really just battle over control of the lanes, which I really, really do enjoy.
I think one thing that we have to talk about is the fact that because we had a reset from the blue buff for Vi, they might be in a little disadvantage when they roam into the bottom river. You see that Wukong is already there. They're going to probably get the priority on the Scuttle Crab. So the vision and the river control is going to be Waterloo's in the beginning of this game. Unless MA3 tries to contest it, but considering they're behind in level, that wouldn't be a good idea. Not yet behind in level, but they would be if they face each other for the Scuttle Crab and eventually lose it. So it's something to keep in mind when you're going for this sort of knowledge in how your jungler are doing. But we didn't have any wards in the beginning of the game, so I don't really know if they managed to see much in regards to their reset.
Yeah, this is it's a little bit of a change of pace for them, but we'll see what they can do. Eyes are open as we do get the first roam out. Already level 4 Plex saying, hey, I want to take a little bit of a cheeky peek and decide how we want to play this. Again, the roam outs, this is what Waterloo do want to do. Their entire composition hinges on making sure that they apply pressure at every single point. Whether that actually yields kills or not, it's the threat of losing someone. It's the threat of Plex left lane, right? It's the threat of Wukong might be roaming down as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think vision is definitely one of the most important things here in the bot lane. They are pushing in regards to taking the wave into beneath the turret. They managed to get a nice reset for themselves, but it's still a Caitlyn and a Lux, so they're going to be able to push even further. Wukong, Senpai Cheese getting some presence in the mid lane as well, but nothing of fruition so far.
Nope, just keeping it simple, just keeping it smart. And I mean, taking a look, we can already see the Wukong trying to play pressure all over. So Senpai Cheese has made sure to gank bot side and mid now, burn the flash out of Benko. And now you're deciding if you actually want to go into the enemy jungle and look for a little bit more. Of course, a dog in the top side is getting knocked up every single time. So this Poppy has not actually enjoyed the lane as much as you would assume. And again, with the trade balance, Regretful Angel will be able to heal up from that.
Yeah, I think that to be fair, they have a little bit of a balance in regards to how much they're going to be able to sustain themselves in the lane. You have Cho'Gath being able to heal a little bit whenever he's going to farm. And on the side of Dog, he's got the Biscuit. He just finished the Corrupted Potion there. So they're getting a little bit out on that stock of sustainability Oh my god, look at the presence from Waterloo in the jungle. They managed to steal something there. They dropped the ward, and they managed to also not be spotted by Vi. So very nice control of the map so far by Waterloo.
Yep, and now we can kind of see right now that the state of the lanes in terms of MIT has been difficult. They are completely blind on their own side, and so it's a little bit scary for them to do anything here, right? The Vi doesn't want to step up too far in the river. That Wukong could be right there, so it's really just, hey, how the heck do we deal with this? This Vi has not had a successful gank yet, and at this point, it's reactionary ganks.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So definitely Waterloo being the first one to take the action in these battles. In the bot lane, the Caitlyn and Lux are trying to get some control over this jungle, over this lane, excuse me. And of course, you're going to be able to do that pretty easily with the amount of AoE damage that you have. And so far, as you mentioned, it's just been pretty equal and nothing much coming to effect for either of these sides, but definitely a more proactive mana coming from Waterloo, especially with the vision.
And we can see now that Vision has set up for Waterloo, as you said, getting ready for this dragon that is now spawned, minute and a half down. But Benko, you had no flash. You were trying to get a ward down, and you meet Senpai Cheese, of course, with that petrifying gaze. It can be so dangerous. But again, you're not looking for the kills. If you're Waterloo, you're looking for control. You're looking to control and manipulate this early game. I think they've done it quite well.
I agree. I definitely agree, Orbital. And they're going for this early Drake. They have the vision. They have the control in the bot lane as well. First shot, though, is not that far away. You're going to try to get some damage onto the bot lane as well. But they don't know the presence of the Vi just yet.
And again, Burst Shot has had trouble every single time. And top side couldn't gank top because Dog Wars was under the tower. Could not fight back, and again was about quarter HP. Now on the bot side, it's being shoved completely off the side. Scrim and Int Overflow had done a phenomenal job. You can see the CS differential right now for the Caitlyn being an absolute pain. So Burst Shot, this champion, the Vi, has wanted to gank for so long and is yet to have an opportunity. So at this point, you just want to try and farm as hard as possible.
Yes, and I don't think that they're making a bad decision at that. I think that's a good one because they're showing some respect, right, for the enemy. They know how much the Wukong can do. They know how much that bot lane can do if they try to gank that one. And the pressure from all the lanes have been very strong from the side of Waterloo. So it's nice to have that respect. We see a couple of wards that are deeper into the red side of the jungle. You have a pink ward right there close to the red buff, and some across the river as well. So it's important that MIT is trying to keep that control in vision. Knockup is going to land, Regretful Angel doing some damage onto this puppy, but it's always what happens in the top lane. They deal some damage, they walk away, they farm.
It really is until that Herald comes down, but you can see here Waterloo are saying we don't want to keep the status quo. We want to ensure that we get some value here. So it's a hard swap. We have Scrim and Int Overflow coming up for this Herald, and you see Plex go ahead and rotate down to the bot side. I like this. It's a cult of making sure that you get some new value, and that's going to be the combination. The Lux Caitlyn takes a kill, and now another trap is going to land. Miliana can't stay here, and it's first blood to the Caitlyn, even drawing the flash out of Burst Shot. Very nice job.
Very beautiful there. You love on that combo lens. That successfully. You had the binding, you had the trap, and all the damage from the Q alongside the headshot is going to finish anyone off at the stage. That's going to be huge for Caitlyn. With the extra gold from the first blood, she's going to be able to reset, get some nice items from that trade, and whenever she comes back and gets there close to the Caitlyn, or even just maintaining themselves against the Cassiopeia in the mid lane, it's going to be devastating, especially since Cassiopeia has to farm, she has to scale up, she has not that much mobility in the beginning of the game because she can't buy boots, so that's something that maybe Wukong should take advantage of. Right now, it just looks like Waterloo just want to take everything from the blue side of the jungle.
It would be the smart move if they could. At the same time, it's You know, they're recalling, they're having a good time, they're spending their gold that they have earned. Across all the lanes, we can already see Scrim sitting on that Gale Force. That was the first buy back, by the way. Went Longsword in 3 pots, so was able to pick up this Gale Force so early on, which now means Reaper is in an even more scary spot, right? That Jinx, you have to be aware of the power difference between these bot lanes. If you step up a little bit too far, not even Miliana will be able to save you.
Definitely not. And this Scrim on the Caitlyn has gotten so much value out of their first blood. They have completed the Gale Force, and that's going to be massive, while the Jinx still has some components, still waiting for something to happen, while this bot lane is just shredding the platings, getting some value on it, and it's going to be backed up by a Herald as well. If that hits, that would be massive. It should probably hit because nobody's there to contest it. Oh, mid lane very close to getting shut down.
I mean, Benko went for it, and I mean, if you're on the chase, it was very obvious once the charm went down that it wasn't going to happen. It was really just how much was Plex going to expend, and considering that you do the Petrifying Gaze, the Ghost, and Flash, and Benko wasn't able to get anything except a little extra damage. I think Plex is very happy because now Benko is completely scared of this dive. This is what happened. Plex now able to get this work done. That's going to be the binding into the charm, into the Q, and death. That is so easily done. And now they can't even fight back. MIT can't fight back. The CC chain, the pick potential from Waterloo nets them a second kill.
Yes, and when we noticed that in the draft, maybe we would have a composition on Waterloo's side that didn't have a front line. As you said, beautifully predicted. You don't need a front line when you have this type of damage, and they have so much potential of just getting that damage from very far away that you don't even need that front line.
Don't need a front line, don't need any help. A burst shot saying I want some in mid, but can't get in range for that ulti. It's been a painful time for them as MIT have pretty much just bled out across the rift. Regretful wants one more and doesn't have the feast, or that would have been an execute. What a ridiculous chain of events. Right now, Waterloo, they don't have to do anything except just starve out MIT. Now they look for another one. Benko, man, a little bit of a dangerous spot. Eats the ace in the hole. Still quite tanky because of the Rod of Ages, but you're not allowed to go into your own jungle successfully.
And we're going to expect that next streak to come up pretty soon if Waterloo, and they should have preference over this. There we go, it has already spawned. It's going to be the Hextech Drake, and with all the warding that I have around, it's going to be very easy to take this one. Miliana just trying to get some vision, but they know they can't contest this one at this time, and it's going to be a very easy pick for Waterloo.
Well, so far, it's just been... I want to know the best words, but right now we can't because Plex gets out of a dicey situation. That was a 1v3 that you're able to maneuver out. And remember, that's because Plex only used the ulti in mid from before. Still had the flash available. Beautiful escape.
Yeah, we have seen that over and over again from Waterloo, haven't we? It's just every single time MIT has an opportunity to try and go for a pick, try to go for a kill, they're left a little bit behind. And it's definitely because of how much the players from Waterloo have been able to keep themselves ahead. For example, in farm, you have a 20 CS lead, even more than 20 CS lead on the top lane. You have around 10 in the mid lane as well. And that's going to make a lot of a difference, especially when you have the rest of your team with 1 kill, 1 assist, and the rest of MIT is solely on O's at the moment, only donuts. And we'll see if Burstshot can get something on Regretful Angel. They have become so tanky already, so it would definitely be difficult to get this one finished off.
Oh, it would be horribly difficult. I mean, Dog Wars can barely stay in topside right now. It's the Poppy of all things is going for that damage build, which is appropriate. Don't get me wrong. Going for that damage build, I believe Divine Sunder is the appropriate call. But you are so far behind your build. I mean, Regretful already has that Heartsteel. You are now fully in charge, and because of that, it's a scary, scary sight. We are now taking a look at the second knockup here, Dog's War. Dog War is just, doesn't even want to take a chance. It's trying to fiercely clear the wave in case the Wukong decides to finish top.
Yeah, in the mid lane though, we have Caitlyn and Lux being the menace that they can be, just doing so much damage, getting that poke in, just keeping Reaper and Miliana on their toes because they have to be dodging all the time. And that's going to be difficult when you're also worried about a Wukong threat. But they're gonna go for it. It's ultimate, finishing them off. Nom 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 in my tummy, tummy, tummy.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So that's a beautiful pick right there. And a great tower take as well. So far, Waterloo have controlled top, mid, a little bit of bot because Plex is the one just kind of staying there, right? So Plex has had a great time soaking up the farm, 20 CS up. And at this point, it really is all Waterloo. Waterloo is allowed to do whatever they like. They have, you know, kind of the pick of their litter. And they're saying it's mid. That's going to be a Gale Force forward just to get some extra damage. And Senpai Chi is going to sit. That's going to be a huge tower dive coming in. Plex takes the kill with the assist from the ace of the hole. And Burstshot saying, I want some as well. But the heal comes out. And Senpai Chi is allowed to live. Burstshot can't do much more than sit and hope. A quick dash out means that it's going to be the charm dodged away from. But it's still 2 kills and a tower. Now Scrim in the front lines. If you've ever seen a Caitlyn front line, it is painful. But that is amazing from Waterloo. Complete control once again.
Can you believe Orbital? Reaper just dodged so many abilities there. That is the one thing that I was saying. You can't dodge enough abilities at one point. You're going to be able to just get one shot. You have the Caitlyn, you have the Lux, you had the flanking from the from Senpai Cheese, you had flags going in as well. And the cooldowns on Int Overflow are also so low already. They have just ulted, they have ulti again, and they're going to be able to be the more nuisance that they can. They have finished up Ludens, they have the support item too. They finished up Brute, so some magic penetration is going to be coming as well. And considering that MIT is so far behind in items, they have just completed their mythicals, their first items in the build. They are going to still take a lot of damage.
Well, yes, it is. And the next objective coming up, it's another dragon. Of course, it's a mountain, so it's like meh. You know, it's
a meh.
It's a meh. I mean, come on. Let's be honest here. What do you want to come out? Okay, I take it back. The Cho'Gath is going to be real happy. The Wukong is going to be real happy. If it is given over to MIT, though, MIT do have a chance to start coming back because the mountain dragons and staying the soul away from Waterloo and staying away from Soul Point is huge. However, Burstshot might have to do a sacrificial play here. That's the danger. And Int Overflow doesn't even want to allow that to happen. You can see how far they're currently pushing up. And Senpai Chi is currently stealing away a camp. But look at the stack. This is going to be a chance. Over the wall, Burstshot goes. You're going to try and chase in, but you can't get past the clone. It's enough, though. You have forced the opponents out of the jungle. But look at that. The traps are up. There's no way to get to this dragon.
Oh my god, you don't be able to do it, dashing over the pit and allowing yourself to get trapped here. You're not going to want to do that when you have a Lux to back you up. And the Hurricane from Wukong, it might be a just blast going to go forward, and they're going to go in for this one.
They are going to go in. It's a last-ditch effort, and look at the laser across everyone. The chop takes away the Poppy, and now the chase away is so good. Caitlyn takes out the Jinx. It's the Sheriff getting the kill and the arrest, and now Benko, the Snake, is going to try their best, but they can't. It's a triple kill for Scrim, and it's an ace for Waterloo.
Oh my god. I totally loved the attempt from MIT. Unfortunately, if you blast going with your full team in one same spot against the Lux, well, it's as you said, here comes the laser, Demacia, and you're not going to be able to survive much longer after that. The chain of CC with Ari, with Lux, is just going to be too much. We gotta give some props to Scrim as well with how they zoned people out with those traps at the entrance of the jungle. It was good by MIT, as you said. They had some presence going in because they managed to get the opponents away, well, for a little bit. But it looks like Regretful Angel might be in a bad situation. They have to flash away.
I mean, they're going to flash, and there's not much you can do here. It is just chasing for kills for MIT, and they even give it to Reaper, which honestly is pretty dang big. But they're trying, right? And that is something that they have identified for themselves. They've identified that they're not winning, and that is step number one in realizing how to come back in the game, right? You understood you got choked out in the early stages. You got shut down in almost every single individual lane. The bot lane, of course, got out of control. The mid lane, I mean, held steady for a time, but Plex is now 4-0-3. In top lane, Dog Wars had a very rough time against the Cho'Gath. So what do? You say, okay, how do we get gold back? We're not going to win a team fight. We're not going to win most of the objectives. We have to go for the small gold increments. Looking at the shutdowns, right? There's a 500 gold bounty on Scrim. There's a 400 gold bounty on Flex. These are small wins that you can work with. We just saw the blockage, right? The immediate pin in the CC chain coming out of Burst Shot and Dog Wars. It is possible to get a singular kill and try and back away, because at this point, any sort of trade kill is a kill in favor of MIT.
Yeah, not only that, you have the bounties, as you said, not just on the players, but on the towers, the objective bounties that you can take. So that could be very important for them. They have to be able to push a little further, but you can't see them going past that midway stage of any of the lanes. Everything has been stopped, and every attempt is going to be got to a halt by Waterloo, because they have such presence in all of the sides of the map. But that is still how you play against it. You have to identify what you can give. For example, you maybe should have tried to give that Drake, instead pushed for the lanes and gotten objective bounties. But one thing that they can't give is a Baron, so they definitely have to try to fight for this one.
I mean, you could give a Baron if you really want to make the late game difficult. I mean, you could and try and base defend. It's not impossible, but I do agree. You do want to fight for some of these global objectives. The problem right now is you can see on the spot side, Dog Wars is trying to hold off against Regretful Angel, and it's just not working right now. Look how tanky that Cho'Gath is. Once you hit level 16, it is over. But because this bot side is currently being torn apart, it's now a 44 on that Baron, but it's already taken away. So quick from Waterloo. They are in full control right now. And there's no chance for MIT to even come back. They have to decide and focus on a single spot. Regretful Angel currently sitting at about half HP. Dog Wars has been in charge of that. And you know what? MIT will pick up a little bit of a bounty, and they'll pick up some consolation gold in that mid lane tower.
Yes, I think they were right in trying to contest there. I mean, they were a little late. If they were going to try to contest there, they were also afraid that it might be a bait. And since they didn't have that much vision in that bush in the middle of the river, they had the vision outside of it, but Bush is going to try to go on this one. The clockwork is going to get there. Oh, the laser to finish them off.
Oh, that was beautiful. And you know what? It was an attempt from MIT, and again, you never want to go down without swinging. Unfortunately, it's a strikeout, and the inning is over as Waterloo take 4 for 0.
Yes, they do. Oh my god, and looking at the score, it's not just 4 for 0. It's 1 sole kill for MIT versus 14 kills on the side of Waterloo. Over 12,000 gold on the lead. Inhibitor tower, inhibitor taken down. And especially with a Baron buff like that, you could rotate for other buffs, for other towers too. 20 seconds for the Drake. You're definitely going to prioritize a soul in this scenario. But Buzzshot maybe has a chance of trying to steal this one orbital. It's gonna be hard though.
It's always going to be difficult, but you got to go for it. You got to have a bit of fun. At this point, it's just playing for pride. You want to get at least one steal away. You don't want to be completely locked out of all the objectives. But Burst Shot, I mean, you got to realize you got to go over the wall. You're actually going to go into the river. That's not a bad choice. But look at the setup. Again, it's a little bit of a rotate and a catch, a little bit of a singularity. And now Burst Shot goes right in the back line. They're going to try and fight this one. Jinx sets the rocket out, but it's only going to do minimal damage. And because of that, it's a lockdown and kills. 3 dead in a flash. Reaper dead as well. And it's the Poppy that runs away. Dog Wars running like crazy as Flex chases them down. The poor Yurtle will not be able to do more than bait and wait. The slow burn, the cook, the flash forward from Flex just to secure the kill. It is the ace once again at 24 minutes for Waterloo.
24 minutes for Drakes and the Baron. Exposed base. It's definitely an easy win at this point, as you said, MIT fighting for that pride. It was a nice engage from Buzzshot, but that's one thing that we feared. With that much damage that Waterloo build up because of that lead in the beginning of the game, it's just really going to make you be outranged and out yeah. I got a little disconcerted by that. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So, of course, with the spectator client, it does get a little bit buggy, but we did see, of course, Waterloo took game number 1 and in style, right? There was almost no one that stood out because everyone stood out. Everyone had the spotlight on them at one point or another. And of course, the only thing we can really say is, Cho'Gath, why'd you die, bro? Like, that was the only poor point there. And I mean, you're not even going to be mad about that. You had 1 death. That's it. Phenomenal job from Waterloo.
Yeah, almost impeccable, we should say. And I think that, unfortunately for Cho'Gath, you had MIT really going on them because they was the only person that they were even close to being able to kill at any point. And it took around 3 people, didn't it? So we gotta respect the hustle there. But we expect MIT to really go to the drawing board on this one because they have to think about how to change a composition considering what Waterloo brought to the table, which was great map awareness, a lot of presence with roaming from Wukong, a bot lane that was just so repressive that you couldn't do anything, and a mobile mid laner, which really ties everything around.
Of course, and for them, it's going to be a challenge. So we'll go ahead and see if they're going to rise to it here and try and push for game number 3, or if Waterloo will go ahead and take the 2-0. Please don't go anywhere. Nace Star League, League of Legends, week number 1. We'll be back in just a few. And we are back, ready to go with game number 2. Game number 1, Waterloo took an amazing and astounding lead, and I mean, they did it quite well with a very nice siege comp. They took over the game and did not stop at all. I think they only dropped 1 tower and 1 kill, just those 2 pieces away from having a perfect game.
Yeah, and it was so close too. I think that at one point you're gonna drop something, because sometimes you just need to prioritize one side of the map in a push that you're doing. Like you said, they had a siege composition. It's important to know that, well, that Cho'Gath that went down at one point, they were distracting at least 3 members of MIT on another side of the map, so it's definitely worth it, no problem at all. We're jumping right into the draft here. Again, we're gonna have Waterloo banning that Nami, and MIT decides to ban the Cassiopeia. Wait, am I confused on that one? Because MIT was the one who had Cassiopeia, right?
Yes. No.
Interesting. Yes, it
I'm
was.
crazy. No, you are correct. We are swap sides, and it was. But if that's a contested pick, I also understand that. So you are. That is very correct, Soph. You are very much correct.
Yeah, I was a little confused because I didn't think the Cassiopeia did that much, and of course, since they was from their own team, I would think that they would go for maybe banning the Ari if they were so concerned about it. But it's alright. We have finished up the first round of the bans. We have Tristana and Sejuani locked in for Waterloo. Oh my god, Aurelion Sol has gone forth, and he's gonna dominate the skies on this one. Looking forward to it.
Yes, this is what a lot of people are talking about in the past when Aurelion Sol was first reworked. And again, we've seen teams off and on feel like it's an okay pick. It's not the overpowered piece that it is in solo queue. So I like it. I like the lock-in. It's a good blind pick. There's not many champions that can actually deal with it. And if you want to deal with it, you're actually using your jungler quite a bit. So Wukong being locked in for MIT, taking that one away and saying we're going to try and utilize it to the best of our own ability. The problem, of course, is do you actually want to pick up your counter picket to the ASOL, or do you want to look at gathering your bot lane up first? Those are a lot of questions to ask here.
Yes, I think that, yeah, I was going to say it's a lot better right now to try and go for the bot lane first, especially when you had the possibility of a Lulu because of the jinx that MIT had in the previous match. Because we're still waiting for that second round of bans, it's very clever to secure the Lulu now. And considering that, as you said, Aurelion Sol can be just so versatile, it's better to try and get the counter pick after you've seen at least the jungler for the side of Waterloo. So I respect that. I think it works really well. Waterloo locking in the Zeri that had been banned in the previous match. I really like that one. Orianna too. Look at these picks. I love them so much.
It's having some fun here, and this is Orianna support. I do want to preface that. That is Orianna support. It has been played recently, and it's very, very frustrating to play against because the extra damage that comes out. The speed up, though, the annoyance that comes out of this champion is so ridiculous. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they can lay down, but MIT are drafting a little bit more standard and something a little bit more comfortable as well. Getting the Lulu Jinx means that they have secured a strong bot side play. And that leaves it on Waterloo to decide how they want to influence this game. You don't have the Caitlyn, and so you are going for a bit more brutish composition. So we won't see the siege. We are going to see some bloody scrappy brawls.
Yes, we are. The team fights are going to be massive. And on the side of MIT, because you have the support from Lulu, this could be very, very good for the Jinx. The last time around, we saw the Jinx being picked, and she wasn't allowed to have the Lulu on her side because of the ban. So I would hope that they have a better time this time around. And Wukong being taken from Waterloo as well is a very nice deny that the red team has decided to go for. And I hope for them, because it's definitely sad when you get swept. So I hope for them that they at least get to a game 3, because of course we saw an almost perfect game from Waterloo. So I know that's not going to be easy. Finishing off the bans, we had the Victor and the Cassidin. The other side, the Fiora and the Darius. LeBlanc in the mid lane. Interesting. Haven't seen her that much recently.
Well, this is also one of the other ways that you can deal with an ASOL, right? We did say this before, that if you are going to shut down an ASOL, you have to be in conjunction with your jungler. And so I do like the LeBlanc. Now, again, LeBlanc did get buffs recently. They did do a quality of life change to her Q, the Sigil. Now the Sigil will actually do extra damage, a little bit more damage. But the main factor is if you kill a unit, if you kill a minion with that spell, it refunds 100% of mana, I believe, and then 30% of the cooldown. So it is a ridiculous wave clear tactic, much like Annie is the best way I can put it. It's very, very nice to have. The problem that comes out is once you pick up LeBlanc, you are immediately relegated to the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game. You are not allowed to walk outside of it, and that's why Waterloo have opted for a much tankier aspect here. They went with the Ornn and the Graves. It is a very strong brawl team fight composition. It is a single cannonball that'll be facing you, so MIT scrambling to figure out the best option, and they say we're going to go for the Mord to try and deny and take away some of your team's power.
I think that's a very good pick against the Ornn. I think you can have those two giants brawling in the top lane and allow them to not cause that much problems unless you're already approaching Herald time. So I think I like that one. In the team fights as well, if you get Mordekaiser to just isolate someone from the party, it would be very, very nice, especially considering taking out the Ornn, taking out the Aurelion Soul, and allowing LeBlanc to be able to go on the backline, get the Zerion, get the damage on Orianna too. I think that would be super great. On the side of Waterloo though, it's something that I mentioned in the previous match. I would have loved to see it on because the potential it can bring to the table because of the upgrades on the items is huge. Give that to the Zeri, give that to the Aurelion Soul, give that to the Graves, and it's going to be massive. So even if MIT gets this game to a much later stage, we had a 24-minute game in the previous match. So if it gets even later than that, Waterloo has a nice backup, especially with the tankiness, as you pointed out there. On the side of MIT, they have some support. They have a very sturdy traditional composition. So I think they can go much further than they did in the previous match. So I'm rooting for them.
I am too. I want to see them kick it back. I know you do as well, Soph. So I agree. I want to see the LeBlanc kick off. I want to see the Mord do well. I want to see the Jinx and Lulu do well as well. I want to see everyone do well as well. So we'll go ahead and send it to a very well-earned break here as we go ahead and get ready for game number 2. Will Waterloo take the 2-0 or will MIT fight back for game number 3? Only time will tell. Don't go anywhere, Nace. Star League. We'll be right back. we are back, ready to go with game number 2. We saw a very different draft come out on either side here. We got the Zeri coming out to face off against the Jinx, and I mean, the support's going to be much different. We have an Acel in the mid lane versus LeBlanc, and then the Wukong coming out as well. I mean, so this is all sorts of, we don't care about game 1, we're going straight into game 2, it feels like.
It really does, Orbital, and especially with an Orianna in the bot lane too. Haven't seen her there in a while. I think for MIT though, I'm happy to see that they had the Lulu this time around. It was banned last game, so it's gonna pair up with the Jinx always so nicely. They denied the Wukong too, so no Wukong in the jungle for Waterloo. As we dive into this match, second match of this best of 3, Waterloo on the blue side, MIT on the red, and let's get this going.
It's yeah, this champion right on your screen here. The Orianna coming out here. Let's talk about this a little bit, right? So like you gotta, right? Have you seen Orianna support quite often? Is this something that you see often?
Not really, no.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so annoyingly, frustratingly good. And at the same time, it's also feels like one of the weaker ones, right? If you look at Orianna is meant to be a mid lane. It's meant to be kind of a general specialist is the best way I say it, right? It's it's just there. It's okay damage, it's okay shields, it's okay speed ups. But what Orianna can do is be an annoying pain in the butt. The constant poke coming out of the ball, out of the command attack, out of the command shockwave, out of the command shield. It's annoying. It's frustrating. It's so just stop it kind of thing here. So that's what you're looking at. You're hoping to see Int Overflow take a peek here and just be this bully in the bot side.
Yeah, we have already Graves going in for this one, taking the detection, clearing out. There's no wards in the vicinity, and they're gonna go in for it.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. Dog War is trying to fight it off, but in the bot side already, Senpai Cheese with a level 2 gank, something that you normally only see from very gank-heavy junglers and from things like a J4 or anything like that. You're going to happily take that heal and flash out of Liana and Reaper. We did see in the mid lane as well, Plex getting jumped on. And this is also the thing we talked about, right? Venko, man, you're on a timer. You got to make the most out of the clock.
You really do, and there's a lot of damage coming out already, especially when you have Electrocute as your rune there primarily, so that's gonna be amazing against the Acel. Some damage from Reaper as well. Miliana trying to do the most out of this lane this time around. They've been the ones pushed that in the beginning, and Regretful Angel dealing some damage on Dog Wars as the fight of giants in the top lane continues.
There is also a point where you just hate Ornn as well, right? Ornn is so frustrating to deal with. It is a champion that should not be allowed to do this much damage, but you know, that's one of the things there. Now Scrim on the bot side is getting bullied around, but that's going to be a flash out from Reaper as again, Int Overflow gets a very nice chunk off. This is what that Orianna is all about. Now Senpai Cheese though getting jumped in the mid lane. You have no way out. It's going to be first blood to Benko, man. A solid jungle invade.
That was amazing. Very nicely executed by Shot and Banco, man. Getting that presence in the jungle and saying, well, this time around, we are gonna be the ones to be on top of the matchup. And they managed to not only get the nice invade, first blood, get the vision from the Scuttle Crab, and that's gonna be a very good boost of confidence for MIT as they start the second match.
I am so happy to see a difference here, but remember, it's not just one lane game. You got to be worried about that top side. Dog Wars, even though they've been trying to trade out heavily, they're not exactly winning out in the HP department. Ornn is not a champion that you like to go head-to-head with if you're standing by a pillar or anything like that. So you have to play a little bit smarter. You can see here the CS differential is also becoming a problem. Shield goes up. More punches come out as the Grasp of the Undying is taking its toll. That's going to be another bully stack, and that's the Brittle Charge. Oh! That's the kill. Regretful Angel makes Dog Wars regret their actions.
Oh, I am very sad to see that happen. And to be fair, I was going to say, I don't see why Dog Wars is being so aggressive in pushing that when they were so far behind in that HP department. In the mid lane, though, we had to use the flash on Plex to be able to get away from that gank. So very nicely executed from MIT once again. Senpai Cheese getting on top of Benko Man, very close. They might be the ones to go down first. And Orbital, what a turnaround for MIT on this game.
Oh, it's so good already, and it's because of this mid lane LeBlanc pick. We see Plex getting shut in. We see Plex having to deal with the situation. You realize that LeBlanc is an absolute pain in the butt. So you call in your jungler, you call in Senpai, but Benko is ready with the rest of the team because just like Waterloo, MIT have identified that mid is their one winning lane. So they want to play towards it as much as possible. It's allowed them to pick up 2 kills. Of course, you do have to be worried how long can this go on. So if I'm MIT, I want to see them gank even more. I want to see them put even more pressure and play safe in other lanes. Don't allow the rest of the lanes to get ahead.
Yes, and you got to be careful when, as you said, you're playing against such an annoying champion in the bot lane as it is the Orianna support. Senpai Cheese is going to try to cheese this one, haha, pun intended, going onto this bot lane. They have the vision, they place the ward. They're going to go forward even though, and the traps are going to delay that push, some damage onto Scrim too. And it's going to be an unsuccessful gank for Waterloo this time around.
It's enough though. Again, you can see the brutal damage that comes down and just the slows, and now the zaps Miliana not wanting to be in this situation and calling down both junglers. So the constant toss of damage is going to call down Senpai Cheese, but keep in mind the Wukong's here as well. Level 4 versus level 4. It really depends on who gets the kill first, and Scrim is now in the front lines. Burst Shot turning on Senpai Cheese, who gets zapped and is now going to get bought. Burst Shot is going to get the kill, and that's now 3 to MIT as they happily take that jungler.
Yeah, happily take the lead overall as well. You have more in the kill department, but something that is still lacking a little bit is in the CS department. Waterloo still maintaining a nice lead in the top lane. You had 1 kill for On as well, which was a very interesting choice of an engage for Dog Wars, and they're always going to be very, very low on health, trying to see who's going to win the 1v1 in the bot lane too. The Zeri is a little bit ahead.
Ooh.
Oh, ulti's pop.
It's going to be a flash out, and again, as you said, the realm of death, but look at the knockups, look at the damage, and the pillar to finish it off. Regretful Angel makes it look close, but honestly, it's not close at all. Beautifully done by the Ornn.
Yeah, very nice comeback on that one. Once again, Regretful Angel coming on top of that fight in the top lane. Burst Shot taking a lot of damage from Mint Overflow, but again, the mobility, the possibility of going forward and dealing damage from Benko Man is a lot, but this time around they might be caught in a bad position as the rest of Waterloo joins.
Oh, that's a pain. That's going to be the ulti coming down from the Aurelion Soul, but Benko Man says you've tried to chase your last. With a little bit of help from Burst Shot, you get the kills, and Benko Man is making this game look easy. That is now the 4th time Senpai Cheese has gotten caught out of position, and honestly, for Graves, that you can't actually let that happen. As a Graves, you need to be able to farm up, get the extra kills, become this damage source for your team. If you're constantly being killed, if you're constantly getting pressured, Burst Shot's going to have a much better time scaling up to be that nasty engager.
And what a difference that's going to make for MIT. You have the Graves, as you mentioned, all in O. While you have Wukong really scaling much more, getting the presence all throughout the map, and especially the highlight, Benko Man on LeBlanc has been incredible. Mobility, the damage, the awareness as well, and the communication with the team to go on these skills, and there they go again on Plex.
Plex can't do anything. You're trying to build for the Route of Ages, but again, it's Camp City here in the mid lane. I love it. I love that they are forcing this mid lane to occur over and over again. It's not stopping. Okay,
it really isn't. Okay. I mean, it's not stopping in regards it happens over and over again, right? At one point, they have to choose that priority, and the priority will be the Herald anytime. But getting the presence as they have been doing, they have vision as well here in the jungle. They see Senpai Cheese doing the blue buff. They see that they're fine for the time being. They have some defense. They have the Lulu to zone them around. Look at that. Lulu! You're not allowed to do that much damage.
Lulu's having a blast. Lulu's roaming around, and I mean, it is also an inherent issue that has cropped up. Lulu is roaming because you can't do anything bot side. Lulu is well known as being another poke champion. You get the pixie down, you get to throw the auto attacks, you get extra damage, right? But Int Overflow has already shown that they are a stronger duo. And because of that,
Yeah.
it's already been identified. Hey, MIT, send the Lulu somewhere else. Help the Wukong get leads in top and mid. Help the LeBlanc get stronger. We are sacrificing bot side. We're sacrificing the Jinx in hopes that the other lanes can get ahead and then allow an opportunity for the rest of the team to, or to allow Jinx to farm back up and become that late game monster.
Yes, absolutely. So I think it's a great decision, as you pointed out, from MIT to choose to do so. Now they have Liliana back into the bot lane. They have to help the Jinx defend a little bit more when you have Zeri and Orianna pushing so hard. Again, Regretful Angel making Dog Wars regret staying in this lane when they're trying to farm, as they do so much damage as this on. I have to say though, Orbital, I feel like things could become very different as soon as all players have their mythical items and they go for a big team fight. Even if it's like 3v3 or 4v4, I don't think we would see a 5v5 at this point. But I mean, of course, you don't even have those TPs unlocked yet. You're not going to be able to go for a fight on Drake anyway unless you go by walking. So I think it would be a very different story when we have those big team fights happening. But 1v1s, it's Banco Man on top every time.
Oh, the shockwave grabs too, though. Listen, we might have wanted a team fight, but Waterloo just wanted the slaughter. That's going to be the collateral damage, taking more collateral damage. The heal comes out into shield. Scrim is allowed to stay alive, and they follow through. A last zap will finish it off as it's a double kill for the Zeri. Benkoman, though, wants the shutdown, is going to get the chain and a follow-up, but can't actually get the root. Oh my gosh, it's actually so damaging. Scrim is allowed to live. And that was a chance that MIT can't finish it off.
Oh my god, the B emote as well. Oh my god, the Soraka as well. No, I cannot believe. I was sure it was just going to be a distortion. It was just going to be a W on top of the Jinx. Of course, on top of the Zeri. Oh, top lane though. Regretful Angel picking every opportunity to go in on Dog Wars and just doing the bullying you would expect one to do in a top lane like that when you are ahead. But oh my god, that was very disappointing for Bankoman indeed.
Bankoman being this carry here and yet not being able to finish off one of the big targets here. Getting an early shutdown on Scrim would be a very healthy way to get yourself even further ahead. You're looking for that Ludens, you're looking for that extra damage, and you're wanting to deny Plex a chance to build into that Rod of Ages, which should be built on their next spec. So for right now, Waterloo are able to tie things up, and especially with red buff on Scrim, they can do so much more on the spot side. I mean, I'm terrified. This game has kind of broken out. Mid lane in favor of MIT, bot side in favor of Waterloo. Same with top side for Waterloo.
Yes, it has maintained that from the beginning of the game, hasn't it? And I think the main difference it was going to make is whenever they get this first. Of course, it's not the first, but the first Drake that they're gonna fight for it should they decide to do so. A lot of MIT players around this pit, they don't even know. They do have vision. Scrim is just absolutely confident that they can go forward and be the front line this time.
Oh, Benko man, trying to chase out Senpai Cheese, and honestly, even without the kill, this is one of those times that you're happy. Either way, it is going to be a dragon started up here, but look at Into Overflow and Scrim. They're the strong ones, so they're now chasing to help, and this is excellent team coordination. I love it, what they're doing here. Topside, Regretful Angel and Dog Wars are still trying to chase each other down, but this dragon, it is a dicey situation to be had.
It really is. They're gonna probably start something happening already. 50% health on that Drake. Maybe some damage from Plex and a nice shockwave from Overflow. Let's go.
Oh, that's gonna be the dragon stolen away. Senpai Cheese takes it, and because of that, the fight breaks out in conclusive fashion. It is gonna be two-handed back, and it's a kill going to the ASOL. Plex is able to change things up, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Into Overflow and Plex saw their other side die. The jungle and ADC taken away, so it's a trade. 7-7 total score, but Dragon went the way of Waterloo.
It did. Oh my god, such a close fight for them. Unfortunately for MIT, as you said, they lost the buff, but there's still plenty to be done. Right now, we have confirmed that we have the Hagstake spawned. We're gonna have a Hagstake Drake Soul, which is very interesting. How are these two teams going to navigate the map with that advantage? Maybe has already started. Burst shot going on to Ind Overflow, but a lot of damage is coming from those balls as well. The spheres are going to be able to zone you away, and you are the most powerful link of Waterloo so far. That bot lane, the Zeri and the Orianna, so you gotta make good use of it.
It's going to continue as well, right? The Immortal Shield Bow provides so much safety for Scrim, but Plex is the one that's having a bit of trouble here. I hate that ability, by the way. The fact that you don't get knocked out of flight is so frustrating. Oh man, this is I'm so all right, enough salt from Oracle, right? Enough salt. Looking towards it though, this is going to be a chance because now Plex does have that Rod of Ages. You can start stacking. And it's going to be quite fun. The A-Soul, again, you kept them down for a decent amount of time, but now with a CS lead and getting in some of those levels, it's going to be way more painful.
Oh my god, you gotta look at the confidence that Scrim and Overflow have on these champions, because that Orianna was just frontlining right there in front of Banco Man, who is 4-0-1. Don't forget that. And it's a LeBlanc that can just explode you should she want to. But Scrim is gonna go on Reaper. We didn't even see how did that happen, but they are able to take down the Jinx. That's gonna be even more power in the hands of Zeri.
Oh, it was so good. And I mean, we're seeing now, as you said, Scrim and Into Overflow are the two linchpins for this composition. They've been so strong and so impactful across the map. We even saw Into Overflow in that mid lane just use a shockwave and have some fun. Regretful getting chased down. I mean, that was to be expected. You're up without a lot of mana, so you do fall. Shutdown goes the way of, I think, Burst there. But still, you know, Int Overflow on this Orianna looking like a true beast. And for all the kills that have gone around, that's 3 to Scrim and 2 to Plex. It's still dead even. At least it feels like that with the 3k difference.
Yes, it does. And I think it's finally, as I mentioned, when you get the team fights going on, Waterloo has more chance to come back around. You have the on-horn, you have the shockwave from Orianna, and that's going to be so crucial to get those engages going so you can deal damage if you are Scrim, if you are Senpai Cheese. So they're doing it really, really well. Banco Man as well has been doing great on those 1v1s, but this turret in the mid lane is going to fall pretty soon. No minions to be found, so it's probably going to be in the next wave should nobody contest it. Maybe Banco Man and Burst Shot are going to go for that rotation in the mid lane. It seems like so, absolutely. So that bot lane has to be careful should they proceed any longer, but the vision, it's covered. So great job there from Scrim spotting them out and keeping themselves safe for a little longer.
Well, they'll definitely play it smart. Scrim and Into Overflow just kind of waiting and biding their time. And I do appreciate it. Once again, they have played very slow and smart, but now it's time to pick up the pace. You have a composition that builds into the mid to late game. You don't want to wait any longer, right? You don't want to allow MIT to kind of roll into the late game as well, even though you do outscale. The Jinx is still something that will hit power points as well. Yep. So just as MIT are kind of waiting around, just praying that Waterloo overstep, Waterloo need to start chasing after these kills and opportunities. They need to start making opportunities on their own. And it's also true that Dragon coming up in about 40 seconds will be the big next target.
I think so too. You gotta be careful, as you said, with the Jinx, because right now she has finished finally that Kraken Slayer. So whenever we have that fight for the Drake, it's gonna make a big difference. She finally has her mythic item, and Zeri has been with that item for a while now, the shield bow. So you're finally going to see some damage coming out of the Jinx, but you have to be able to protect her. So Lulu, Miliana is going to be super essential. The Wukong ultimate as well. Mordekaiser is probably going to just stay in the top lane as Regretful Angel rotates to bottom though.
Yeah, this is gonna be a bit dangerous here. Regretful Angel coming in for this Dragon, and again, this will put him on Soul, so I like this call, but Benko's gonna try and run interference. That's gonna be a great chain, but not enough to actually break through the shields. And with Regretful Angel here, Dog Wars is gonna TP in, so a little bit of a difference there, but in comes a little bit of a knock in. Burst is gonna go straight forward. That's gonna be the Cyclone. Do you actually get anything? In comes the star, but it lands. You get the knock on Benko, and it's a take by Senpai Cheese. You are breaking through the enemy ranks. MIT getting melted here. Everyone falling to the power of the stars as Plex says thank you very much. It's a double for Senpai Cheese. It's Scrim on a killing spree, and it's Mordekaiser on the run to save their own life.
Black's ultimate. That That was beautiful, so clean, getting everyone knocked up in the air. The damage coming from Scrim into Overflow as well. Regretful Angel just getting things wrapped up with the Ornhorn too. Amazing rotation from that top laner to join the fight. They didn't have to use that TP, so they are definitely ahead in regards in comparison to Dog Wars. And wow, I am very, very pleased to see such a great ulti being used by Aurelion Sol, especially after all the damage that Bakerman had been doing in the 1v1s, and they might be doing some more as well, but they're taking a lot of this minion wave. Senpai Cheese is going to come in forward, but the clone has been popped, and the backup has arrived.
Oh, and the backup is so good. Senpai Cheese got baited in by Benko going in, but that's why you still get the kill. You're going to trade 1 for 1, but at this point, remember, it's a trade worth fighting for. That's going to be the Wukong dropping 150. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know how much Benko gave over, but you know what? You'll take it. It's jungle for mid as you get a little bit more free farm for Dog Wars.
I was not expecting that collateral damage to finish off the LeBlanc, but it did. Well, here we go. We have Scrim and Into Overflow being so aggressive in how they conquer the jungle side of MIT's base. And Reaper is once again left against the composition where they have to try to dodge all the time. But this time around, they have the Lulu, they have the shield, they have the move speed, and that's going to help them so much. We're finally arriving into a point where it feels like MIT has a bigger shot than they did last time, even though Waterloo is 6k gold ahead.
Yeah, instead of like a 1% chance or a 5% chance, they have maybe like a 15, right? And that's still a massive increase. I do agree with that one. And it's all because of this champion on your screen right now. It's a Benko that has been a solid force to be reckoned with, opening up opportunities, still finding the kills, but needless to say, this is the other side of it. Burst now getting chased onwards, and having no flash, you are annihilated by Senpai Cheese, who with this cleaver as well as Eclipse is shredding through any sort of health you have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about Waterloo. They just have such incredible map awareness, the rotations that they can pull out. They're always there to back the team up very, very quickly. While on the side of MIT, you can see that they can follow up a couple of times, but maybe they feel a little hesitant, and Waterloo is definitely taking advantage on top of that. They finish off this Baron very easily, no contest whatsoever. Dog Wars might be able to take this one objective bounty, but the TP that they had used for that Drake fight is gonna leave them stranded for a little bit while Flex is here to defend. So overall, really well executed by Waterloo.
The fact that Waterloo haven't lost any towers either, they've been able to keep all of their towers alive is ridiculous to me. They have done very well in controlling, and that goes back to what you said, you know, the macro plays, but they also have their summoner spells up at almost all times. With that TP up, you've been allowed to maintain this bottom side. No one's really been able to push, and that also goes because Reaper has not been allowed to farm, right? You're taking a look, you only have a Kraken Slayer and BF Sword. That's the extent of the Jinx damage you, in all honesty, is your main tower shredder. That's supposed to be your main DPS coming out here, and it's been completely nullified. So huge play coming out of Waterloo. Even though the kills are much closer, you're taking a look, right? It's 15 to 10. It feels closer. You're still losing out on the overall game plan. So really well done.
Yes, and well, we'll see how this is going to go in the fight. We have Waterloo once again just getting the control over the jungle. They're going to go for Miliana, very close to getting Reaper as well. They're going to go in. Senpai Cheese decides to fall back, but still applying a lot of pressure in regards to that positioning. Aurelion Sol is going to join in the party, but definitely a better call to just rejoin in that bottom path, get the Drake going, 15 seconds to go, and see how that's going to end up.
Oh man, and now look at this. Again, a shockwave, the AoE, the CC, the damage is real. Thankfully, it's on the 2 tanks, though, so they're allowed to live. But as you said, it's not really meant to kill right now. It's meant to push them out, because guess where they're going? They're going for this Hextech Dragon. They're going for Soul here. And honestly, Senpai Cheese can do it on their own. So now we get a chance at another fight. It's going to be a 4v3 as that's a knock of Reaper currently locked in. Ornhorn being called in. That's going to land on one. You get a knock on Reaper, who has to flash away, gets the polymorph as well, and the wild growth. So everything to keep this Jinx alive, but it's a true and honest bait. Remember what the global objective game is. That's going to be Plex channeling away on the Ray of Stars. And all too late, MIT realized they've been bamboozled.
Yes, they had been baited. Senpai Cheese finished off that Drake, got the soul for themselves. They're gonna go for this one. And incredible ultimate from Aurelio. So once again, the Scrim just finishing everyone up.
Oh man, and now it's just death beyond this great Scrim. Inside, they're getting burned away and yet surviving. The final zap takes it. And I mean, with that, it feels like game is over. It's been a very tough time for MIT. They fought back valiantly in game number 2, but right now, Benko, the lone survivor at 4-3-2, doesn't feel like they're able to maintain the base.
Yes, they definitely are not. With just one player left standing, the other two spawning in a couple of seconds. The damage that Senpai Cheese and Scrim can deal to the towers is massive. But well, I was gonna say they had a couple of shots to be able to take someone down, but the Hextech gates are just there. And the only one person that might go down is gonna be on Regretful Angel. And I think that is definitely acceptable after such a ruthless push.
Oh yeah, that was brutal, but oh, there it is, collateral damage. I was ready for it. That is Benko dead once again, as right now Senpai Cheese is 7-6-2. That was Waterloo backing off and MIT chasing a little bit too far, so you know what? It's a 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day, and Waterloo get to go back a buy with a ridiculous amount of gold in their pockets.
Yeah, that's gonna really help them. And oh my god, 8-1-8 Zeri with 650 gold bounty to their name. And finally Senpai Cheese, who was literally 0-5 at one point in this game, they have the 400 gold bounty on their names. And it's gonna be very hard for MIT to try to find a way to come back on this one when the one champion that they had under control, who was the jungler, is climbing and climbing and climbing back, getting those finishes off with the collateral damage. And it definitely feels super good for Waterloo. They have all the vision, the control over the map. They're pushing here in the top lane. There's still 1 minute, a little bit more for the Baron to spawn. Maybe there's going to be another skirmish here as Zogwars tries to get Flex, but they're dealing so much damage back.
Dog Wars forgot that Plex decides to AoE who they want to AoE. That's a shockwave on 3. That is disgustingly large. The snipe with the Ornhorn takes the life of Miliana, and now it's brutal shredding all the way through. The Stars slows them all down as it's a triple kill for the Aurelian Soul.
Incredible, amazing, and the TP to finish it off as well. Oh my god, how did that happen? Did you see it? Did you see what I just saw? Oh my god. Anyways, we had the nice TP allowing for the minion to not be targeted by the tower. They're gonna finish this one off in a much more competitive match against MIT, but Waterloo really gathering all their strength to pull off all the souls in the game, the heralds, and over 14,000 gold on the lead against MIT.
It was so good. It was just very well played. And you know, Waterloo coming out here, they went 4-2 inside of the Swiss bracket last semester, and this time around are looking to have an even better time. They start out their season at 2-0. They've been so good, and I mean, I want to know more about what they've done, so let's go ahead and get an interview with one of the players. I believe Scrim is sitting off on the sidelines ready to go here, and we'll get a little bit of insider scoop and really get to figure out exactly what makes the team tick. Scrim, thank you so much for joining us here. I love it. Eat, sleep, ADC, repeat. If only I could say that 5 times fast. How you feeling after that 2-0 start to your season?
I'm feeling really good. I think we had 2 really clean games overall, and I just want to start off, because you mentioned the shirt. I think it's a bit of a shirt diff this game, so.
Hey, let's go!
Hey, look at that! Oh my god, I love it.
For sure, I think I don't know. My teammates played so well this game. Senpai Cheese in the jungle. He's always a team player. No matter how hard you beat him down, he's always gonna come back up. He's gonna get back right in there. But yeah, I think it was really amazing overall.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely, congratulations. And it really transpired exactly as you said, how you guys were playing as a team. You could see it in the rotations that you guys were having, in the vision that was always there. You made sure to be in the objectives way ahead than your opponents. And one thing that I wanted to ask is more in regards to the draft. How was it to go from the first ADC to Zeri on this one? You had finally the for MIT, the Lulu and the Jinx together. Did that scare you a little bit, or was it fine?
If I'm honest, I probably played like 200 games of Zeri this season, and like probably half of those games were specifically like the Zeri Jinx matchup, and I've won it like 90% of the time. Like I think it's probably. I think Zeri is definitely stronger earlier, so we just made sure to punish the Jinx early so that she couldn't play, and try to like close the game out early, because I think Jinx does outscale. But if we just play better as a team, it was much easier to just close out the game early and make sure that we didn't have any, any throws that would give them a chance back into the game.
Of course, we saw a little bit of a squeeze in game number 2 came in the form of Benko. Benko men started to get a little bit of a handle. Was Plex a little bit worried during that game? Were there any sort of worries with the ASOL? Because I mean, we know ASOL scales, but was there a moment of hesitation there? Maybe saying, okay, maybe I regret blind picking ASOL in this game?
I don't think he has ever said that. Like even if he's like losing lane, I don't think it's ever like he knows that like he's probably gonna have a hard matchup because we're blind picking him. So like he kind of understands like, hey, I might get camped mid jungle, but it's fine because like he's always saying like, you know what, like I'm scaling for late game. People say that like kind of to cope, but he always says it unironically, and we know that he says it unironically because we always see what happens. He comes out of lane, maybe he's a little behind because he's getting camped, but he always brings it back home.
Yeah, it really showed on, as you said, of you guys really playing confidently and knowing that you can trust each other. You had that Aurelion Sol being the first blind pick, but it's totally fine. So I just really want to congratulate you on this one. Thank you so much. And 2-0 sweep to start off the season must really feel very, very nice. Do you want to give any shout outs before we wrap up this interview?
Oh, obviously my teammates, I gotta shout my teammates. I don't know, there's probably no world where we thought we would have like such a clean game 1, but I think that definitely gave us the momentum into having a really good game 2. So yeah, definitely want to shout my teammates. Our coach, who actually wasn't here today to help us, but he's been really amazing in all of our scrims when he is here. And I want to shout out my coach, Pandemic, and I also want to shout out our manager, Horif. But yeah, all my teammates, Plex, and Overflow, Royal Angel, and of course Senpai Cheese. Yeah, just everybody. And of course any Waterloo fans that are watching the games, thank you for coming out to support us on our first game.
Yeah, I think you made quite a few new ones as well with those performances that you put down here today. Hopefully you guys continue your undefeated record and maybe chase after that perfect game. You were just a kill and a tower off, or it would have been an amazing start, but it was an amazing no matter what. Again, Scrim, thank you so much for the interview and congratulations on the victory.
Yeah, thank you so much. We might have to look into getting a new top laner after that. I don't know, we'll see.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I might sign up for that, but we'll see. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we have more action coming up here with NA Star League. I know we were so excited to be here to open up the League of Legends season, but we have now Super Smash Bros. Coming up just over the horizon, so make sure to stick around. Again, my name is Orbital. With me has been Soph-Chan, and we've been so excited to cast your NA Star League of Legends matches. Thank you so much for letting us cast it, and we'll see y'all next time, but stay tuned once again for Super Smash Bros. Coming up next.
Welcome back, everybody, to week 7 of League Play in the NACE Star League for Super Smash Brothers. As always, I am Nurse, and I am joined by the magnificent Maximus. How are you doing this evening, my friend?
You know, we're all doing pretty good out here. Hopefully, I've been suffering from some audio troubles as of recently, so hopefully everything's coming through clear on my end. But yeah, we got a pretty good one. Only one match on the docket for tonight, but it is looking to be a pretty good one from a team we saw last week in Central Washington University, coming up against the University of Advancing Technology.
Yeah, this'll be very exciting because University of Central Washington actually, we got to see them play last week, and they put up a very good fight against the University of North Dakota. So it'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table here with Ja, Lacha, and Horace all being returning players. On the other side of things, Jazz Boy, Nesquik, Demito, Mirth, and Seaboss 654. We haven't seen them yet, but we do know they're going to have to put on a pretty impressive performance if they're going to want to live up to what we know of Central Washington.
Yeah, no Pearlescent this week. Pearlescent prevalent in their last week's lineup on the Bayonetta. Replaced, or I guess their spot taken this week by Smart Guy, who I found to be a Puff player. So there's still some wild cards on who we do and don't know what characters they play on both sides. But yeah, from what I found, we're going to have some, for our one match, we might have the most new characters we've seen this season. Honestly,
I think you're right, and I think something worth mentioning too is how hard some of these kind of lesser known characters have gone throughout the season. You know, we're getting into the latter half of the season, we're getting into the real nitty gritty of it, especially with both these teams coming out with 4-1 records. But kind of throughout the season, we've seen one, Pac-Man do well just across the board, but two, we've seen a lot of kind of weird characters carve out their niche in terms of kind of propelling teams forward in terms of matchup and experience and that kind of X factor that they have. We've seen, me sword fighters on the anchor. We've seen We Fit trainers on the anchor. Now we're just seeing, Puff on the lineup. We've seen Rosalina, Lucario's on the side of UAT. And so characters that you don't see a lot have been making appearances every single week. And I think it'll be interesting to see if those characters continue to have the impact that they have thus far.
Yeah, because there's also volatility with that. Because I guess everybody sort of knows, okay, Lucario, I'm going to hit them. They're going to live a long time. But exactly what do they do? What tricks does Lucario have up their sleeve to differentiate themselves and really sort of pull stocks out of a hat, if you will? In the other sense, we've, seen characters like Ness across multiple different schools. And just last week saw Ness do fantastic. So there's a whole bunch of characters in here that, while we may not have seen them in previous weeks, we're going to familiarize ourselves with this week.
Yeah, and I think the other really notable thing has been it's not necessarily top tiers that have been doing incredibly across the board. Characters like Joker have had on and off appearances. Characters like Aegis have had on and off appearances where they've either gone, very well, or it's kind of been more on the middling side of things. And so I think what we've seen really across the board is that matchups maybe don't matter so much as matchup experience, and that the tier list doesn't so much matter in this format so much as comfortability and counterpicking based on that. Because we've seen, characters, like you said, Ness, Jake Fox last week went crazy against Central Washington and took something like 9 stocks. On the other side of things, I think that opens opportunities for characters like Lucario, characters like Rosalina or Jigglypuff to shine in situations where, they might be statistically a little unfavored.
But looking at from a team comp perspective, switching out the Bayonetta for the Puff, you sort of run into this situation where Central Washington has a lot of characters that are going to want to be up close in your face and throwing hands. There's not like a Mega Man or Rosalina and Luma or something that, just sort of sit back and whittle away at opponents or really zone anybody out. And then slowly take stocks that way. Everybody's going to be, you know, in your face, doing combos, throwing hands, throwing out a bunch of moves, a bunch of hitboxes. And I feel like there's a lot of space for University of Advancing Tech to sort of handle that their own, like, sort of bring that sort of slow down the pace mentality to the set.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, room for adaptation happens. We saw last week from Central Washington, Jaw was a player on the Pikachu who was able to set that pace, whether it be slow or fast. Pikachu can kind of choose to do either of those things, and Jaw was definitely a standout player for that Central Washington roster. And so it's a matter of if UAT is able to bring that pace, first of all, and then secondly, it's a matter of if they even want to, right? And so I think that's the most interesting part as we go into these kind of set ones, where these crews haven't played each other before. They might be familiar with characters, but they're not necessarily familiar with style as a whole. You really see crews start to feel each other out and get a hang of what exactly their opponent is going for.
Yeah, because every region that these colleges come from might bring their own different styles. Like, we know, like, I, from my perspective of Michigan play, know Michigan to be a lot of more slower, sort of, you know, pick you apart, zone. A lot of people would say lame play styles. However, there are other regions, you know, that just go ham, like top to bottom. Like, you look at your Floridas, your tri-states and stuff.
Yeah.
And those kind of stylistic matchups where, you know, they breed the best of that style. That is another thing that goes into this thing, because unfortunately I'm actually unaware of where UAT is located.
It can be tough too, and I think if it were me and I was the coach going into this and I didn't really know, I would kind of tell my team to expect the slower, maybe kind of lamer play style. I think Ultimate's meta has really shifted towards that as a whole, and so I think more often than not that's what you're going to see. But you're right, there are regions like the Floridas, like Connecticut, like Georgia, that lean towards that really aggressive style of play and breed players who really focus on that. I just think that style of play is rarer. And so I think if I were to bet, I would assume that the slower style of play is coming out, especially because typically at this level of play, it's easier to maintain that style of play as well.
Yeah, and it's just easier when going into that mindset of, okay, we're going to take it easy a little bit and sort of just feel each other out, see what they're made of in a sense before we get into it and start, you know, really going in. But then again, there are some players that, like, that's their entire game plan is, I'm just going to rush you down and take your stocks before you can even think. And looking at it right now, we have I looked it up actually, University of Advancing Tech is in Arizona. So we have a Pacific Northwest versus a, Southwest.
that area. Arizona, I mean, as far as regional styles go, I think Base Mage is from Arizona. I remember Stroder's from Arizona, as far as I know. A couple of those guys down there. They're kind of doing their own thing, though. That's definitely like a wild card region. I wouldn't say that's anywhere near like a Georgia or like a Washington that really have defined play styles. That being said, Smart Guy, the new player on the lineup coming out for Central Washington, actually coming out first and against Demito Lucario. This is a matchup I don't know if anyone has seen ever.
Yeah, I certainly, at least not in this game. I imagine this was all over the place in Brawl or heck, even maybe Smash 4 a little bit, but this is a weird one in this game. Because Lucario is still like that odd kind of floaty, but also very heavy thing where it doesn't do much, odd combos, but oh dear goodness gracious.
You broke rule 1. Rule 1 of playing against Jigglypuff and Zero Suit Samus is never roll in. It's rule 1. You gotta know. They're always looking for it, and Smart Guy is no exception. And so the weird thing about this matchup is Lucario has the opportunity to take really early stocks off. You gotta know, man. You gotta know.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me and won't fool me again. Let's see if they won't get fooled again as the aura has been building on this one.
This is where the matchup can kind of shift into that Lucario favor. Now that the aura is online,
Oh.
Jigglypuff explodes extremely early. And so Demito is going to have opportunities to take very early stocks off of a character as light as Jigglypuff with this much rage on the board. It's going to be a matter of if Smart Guy is able to take the stock without incurring too much more damage, and then if those rests come off in the next one. But this is getting scary.
Mind you, a single hit of down air at this aura almost did as much damage as Smart Guy took their entire first stock. So it goes to show the real power of aura. That it's like, oh, wait. Serious boost, as that's going to be a lot of damage.
And those side Bs get so scary at these higher percents, man. It just kills. And what was that read? Ambitious from Smart Guy, but Aura is officially offline, and so this stock is a little bit safer, at least until these higher percents. But if you're Smart Guy, you really want a rest confirm right here.
Yeah, you see if you can sort of bait out that third roll in.
That, or like you can do stuff like weak fair into rest, you can do up tilt into rest, falling up air. There's no shortage of kill confirms into rest. It's just a matter of if you find that big opening move. And there is
oh, they did it. There's the third time.
Way you did
There's
it three times. There's no way. There's no... someone needs to go have a chat with Demito because you can't. Yeah, like once, okay, sure, you got me. I forgot. Twice, my bad. You got it. 3 times, it's not even acceptable at that point. Like you gotta know, man. You gotta know.
3 times you gotta sort of oil the cogs and up in the old Mind Palace a little bit. Head over to training mode and only just like condition yourself. Get that muscle memory of just rolling away. There was really. Because in all those cases, like, you're forcing center stage when you really don't need to. You know it's Jigglypuff. You know, like, okay, if I'm at ledge, I can just, you're going to back air me. But every time if I try and force, towards them, I know what I'm going to do. It's the same thing against Luigi with up.
And it already happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was a
it
surprise that
twice.
last you had already happened twice. And so if I'm the coach, I'm getting on the board. I'm getting my little marker out on the whiteboard and just putting a big X over rolling into center stage. No more of that, all right? You get 3.
No more.
Hopefully the rest of UHC picked up on it and don't give Smart Guy any more stocks for the roll-ins, because honestly, like, that game, if those rests don't come out on all 3 stocks, that game is close. That game is very close. But instead, that just consistent mistake or that inability to adapt in that moment means that Central Washington is actually going to find themselves 2 stocks up already.
Yeah, it is a brutal one. Like, but if you're on the side of Central Washington, you're like, okay, this is perfect. They already got 3 rests. They've landed 3 rests. How many more can they get? You wanna talk about a character that can just make stocks go away. This is one of those characters that just has that button to be like, okay, and your stock's gone. It's not the same as like a Luigi up B where, yes, even when you do get the kill, you're like very prone to a punish. But that's rest has been like that since the beginning.
Yeah, and honestly, in this game, for the first time ever, if you hit rest, it actually has less end lag. So you're less prone to getting punished even for hitting it than you used to be. And now Villager is coming out on the other side of things. Mirth. It's an interesting pick. I kind of like it. The zoning capabilities can be strong against Puff, especially, Villager going for those air-to-airs with the slingshot. The part of this matchup that can get tough is Puff's Nair and forward air have a lot of priority, which means that if those moves are already out when Villager is doing things like Slingshot, they'll actually go through Slingshot.
Okay, interesting. Because I know there's been, trying to remember the exact player, but okay, wow. Oh my.
No way! Okay. Woo!
Smart Guy's playing Puff here.
Yeah.
Like, this is a Puff player. This isn't somebody that's like, okay, maybe I'll can do a couple things and maybe fish for rest. No. This person knows air mobility on Puff, so this is exciting to see.
Oh my gosh, and that fair coming in so clutch because the fair from Jigglypuff on the other side of things almost certainly would have taken the stock. And honestly, despite having not really won neutral, Mirth is actually at an even game here. What?
Do you drop it? Don't drop it.
It was just greed.
Played yourself.
Just pure greed. Good recognition from Mirth to realize that a forward smash could come out there and secure the stock. It's about as hard a punish as you could possibly ask for. And now, looking to close this one out without losing another stock and living that nair is going to be a good start. No.
A little deep here. Oh, maybe trying to bait out something.
And no punish on the ledge regrab. I would have liked to see something from Smart Guy there just to punish that regrab. There was no invincibility on the board, but now Mirth has regained center stage in the zone. Tries to be set up again, but punished for trying to water his plants.
And there's four. There's four for Smart Guys. So already setting a pretty big lead here for the rest of his team going forward.
And to be totally honest, I believe 4 stocks is more than Pearlescent was able to take last week in either set 1 or set 2. And so, you know, maybe a good omen for Central Washington. I don't know how well exactly Pearlescent performed in the other crew battles, but having Smart Guy come in and fill the shoes is a pretty good sign, if you ask me.
Yeah, so far doing a very, very good job. Now it's just a matter of like, okay, at 40%, you don't want to make too risky of a roll in, but how are you going to get this 5th stock?
Oh, the sing! I mean, if you're looking for...
Oh, but now you're getting walled out.
See, and there's the fair going through, and that was so close. If that neutral air hadn't come out, it looked like Smart Guy was setting up for a jab block, which would have been the kill. That being said, Mirth more than happy to take that last stock, and now only a 1 stock lead on the side of Central Washington. Mirth doing their best to put 2 on the board, only losing 1. And I'll say it once at least every week, a 1 stock lead in the crew battle format is no lead at all. If Mirth is able to take this next stock without losing 1, we're back at an even game across the board.
Yeah, 1 stock taken, and just like that, back to square 1. So you're looking at the kind of lineup that Central Washington has. Sitting in their back lines, it looks like they have Ja on the Pika, they have Lasha on the Yoshi, Horus on the Joker, and Slop, who I found to be Bowser. Who of those characters do you send in to go up against the, like, let's call it what it is. It's pretty impressive zoning from Villager.
Yeah, Joker has some good tools to be able to deal with Villager, particularly back air is pretty strong for edgeguarding Villager and maintaining that offstage presence. If you're not so comfortable with that, you can send in Yoshi, or honestly, you can send in Pikachu. I think both are acceptable options. Yoshi in particular can use the double jump armor to get through the slingshot hits and try and break that zone, especially with his really good air mobility. So there's definitely options for every character, but I think if Horus is comfortable with the matchup, that's probably who I'm sending in.
I agree with that. I think Joker's ability to, you know, contest tree in ways as well. Like I've seen plenty of times back air on tree extends the hitbox for so long, Villager tries to punish and still gets hit with a back air. Like that, there's a lot of wacky shenanigans that happen, especially with like Arsene moves becoming way more meaty than thought possible.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, it's and then combine that with Aegon's ability, or sorry, the projectile, the dot.
Yeah.
Aegon. That also will just disrupt a lot of like Villager zoning tools. So there's a lot there that's like, I think Joker might be the pick.
And right we are. Speak it and it shall be. Horus coming in now with a fresh 3 stocks versus 2 on Mirth, and he's going to be looking to take at least one of these stocks. At least one of these stocks before it is evened back up. So we'll have to see if he's able to do it.
Getting right into it, and already there's a Lloyd. This is the stuff you know Villager to do. Just short hop back air, Lloyd. But if you're gonna Rebels guard it, you gotta hold it the whole time.
All right. And I'm seeing right now that Horus is really leaning on this Rebels Guard and perhaps thought that these projectiles would be easier to kind of manage with the Rebels Guard than they actually end up being. We're seeing Mirth do a really good job of actually punishing the Rebels Guard on the projectiles to make sure that Horus can't just do that for free.
I think Horus is starting to like get it. Like, yeah, I can't just sort of sit here and sort of farm Arsene. I actually have to, go and apply pressure. And when they did that, we saw them get through it surprisingly easily as well. And now, a dash attack at ledge. Follow up here.
And that's what we were talking about. That offstage presence is so good from Joker, especially against such a linear recovery like Villagers. It's exactly what you want to see out of Horus, and I'm really glad to see that he was willing to go for it. Being said, Mirth certainly not out of this, and Answer is back with a stock of their own, but this deficit they find themselves in is not the freest one to come back from, and so one stock is not enough to put yourself back in the game, but to take at least 3, you'd probably be pretty happy. And you are pretty happy. You did take 3.
Yeah, and Arsene's already back sub 40%. That's pretty huge. Having a stock lead and Arsene back at low percent. Oh, here we go. What's going to be? Also trying to pocket the Egon. Not going to find it.
So what he was actually doing there is Neutral B has invulnerability frames. And so he was actually using it like a pseudo air dodge.
Oh, interesting.
And no tech on the forward air means that Mirth is going to drop that stock earlier than he should have. Horus, honestly, a dominating offstage presence. And I think, we highlighted it a little bit before he was even put in, but that is what we expect to come out of Joker, especially in a matchup like that. And I think Horus really delivered on what we expected.
Yeah, there was offstage, like you said, making the most of Villagers' sort of very simple recovery. They just go and turn into Balloon Boy and they're just slowly flying around. Both Nair, and I still think even if Mirth had tech that, I still think they were dead anyways, because like another Nair, a backer, I think the pressure was far from over.
Yeah, a couple of techs definitely would have needed to come out to live through that scenario. So unfortunately for Mirth, gonna drop there, and he took 3 stocks. You got theirs. Yeah. Unfortunately, the 2 stock lead means on the side of Smart Guy means that 3 stocks is not really enough. The 2 stock lead is going to be maintained, and I think it's worth saying if everyone takes 3 stocks at UAT from here on out, that will not be enough to win the crew battle. And so the anchor players who historically have been on the stronger side of things, we're gonna have to see if they're able to clutch this one out.
And now it's gonna be interesting because this is a character that who I'm finding out. We have a Sonic coming in. I believe it is Nesquik. This is a character that you see thrive on a specific game style that doesn't exactly exist in this crew battle format.
Yeah, you can't time people in a crew battle. So that kind of looming time pressure is not going to be there. That being said, I think you can still play the slow play style, especially against a character like Joker, and it can still be very, very frustrating. Where Joker has to find their money in this matchup is in intercepting spin dash with moves like Nair, forward tilt, or back air, and then getting really big reward off of the times that Arsene is online. If they're not able to do that, it's really easy for Sonic to just keep winning these kind of tit for tat trades and building that percent up just until kill percent, until inevitably Joker falls. So it's going to be on Horus here to be proactive and make these plays happen, especially when Arsene is on the board.
Yep, and now small battlefield. We're going to see how this gets into it as both players. I'm surprised there wasn't an immediate spin dash. Normally that's first, like from the set go, just that whirring sound from Sonic. But no.
Some early damage on the side of Horus, and Nesquik choosing to re-engage a little more than maybe we expected. We've seen some aggression out of this Sonic early.
Sonic? Yes, Sonic is going supersonic here. It's always a tough character for me to commentate because the character has like 3 moves that all look the exact same.
Yeah, so you can kind of tell the difference between spin dash and spin charge. Spin dash does the little jump before, and spin charge just goes right into the spin. So you can kind of tell the difference there. Spin dash is a single hit, whereas spin charge is multi-hit. There's a couple little differentiators, and honestly, sometimes they have kind of big impacts. So it can be useful as the person playing Sonic, but also as the person against Sonic to know which one is charging or which one is coming at you.
Yeah, the recognition of like, okay, what kind of ball is Sonic in now is really key to like punishing any of what this character does. Fair on shield, not gonna do it just yet.
And honestly, we were talking about what could have been a very slow game, and to be honest, Nesquik has not been playing that slowly. We have not seen the classical kind of spin dash camping. We have not seen the running away. We've just seen, you know, some kind of scrapping back and forth, and I think Horus is pretty happy to be playing that game as opposed to, you know, just camping it out with Sonic.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't noticed yet is, I guess Nesquik might not even have the opportunity to try it, is that right there, down angled forward smash at ledge.
That could have been an up smash. So that's one of those kind of Sonic matchup checks that a lot of people, oh my god, he wanted the roll so bad, that people aren't familiar with, is if neutral B misses and Sonic has to land on the ground, there is so much end lag. So much. You can run up and do pretty much anything you want. So Horus, maybe not familiar, didn't realize he could get an up smash and is going to lose his stock on the other side for it.
Got a little lost in the sauce there, Sonic.
Well, good. I mean, if you're gonna SD at any time, 170 is, I'll take it. But unfortunately, on the side of Nesquik, he was really hoping to try and even this back up, really hoping to try and put them back on the board. And so dropping stocks for free, probably not where you want to be. And as our Shen comes online, these next couple moments are going to be some of the most important in this game.
Oh, kind of risky landing there, but...
Oh, no jump!
Not from Nesquik, no... Oh!
Does he know? Oh, you could have just forward aired. Great.
Went for the Twitter clip, but nope, okay.
Oh my god, it's so close! 2 dares almost landing, and Horus had multiple opportunities to close out this game. Nesquik, on the other side of things, the recovery mix-ups are just good enough.
Some really odd movement, honestly. But, I mean, I don't really see too many Sonics, but there's the up smash on shield, not gonna land.
That forward smash is so good, too. It's huge, it's safe. There's a lot of situations where you're putting on pressure with Sonic where there's almost no reason not to throw it out. And so I like that Nesquik is willing to threaten it at the very least. That being said, the percentage has flipped to the side of Horus, and a miss on that spin dash kill confirm is going to mean Horus gets back to stage for free.
And a miss on that grab as well. And I look up to the top corner, and I noticed we actually... Oh! Not dead yet. Wow.
Wow. Nice recovery.
Well, not doing the smash at ledge, trying to 2-frame instead. Just backs up.
Oh, and that should
that'll
be
do it.
Yep. Just the right hit on that spin charge will allow you to combo into the forward air deep off stage. And despite a couple of opportunities for Horus, Nesquik looks pretty good in that matchup, honestly, and comes out 2 stocks to 1. Not the worst case scenario for the side of UAT, but Central Washington maintains a very slight lead going into this next one.
Curious. It really is. It's probably the most unconventional team we've seen so far. So far, we've seen a Lucario, a Villager, and a Sonic. Now, when was the last time you saw one of those at your week, let alone all 3 on the same team? And I feel like that's sort of giving Central Washington a bit of trouble here. Is like, does anybody have experience against Lucario? Does anybody have extensive experience against Sonic? It could just be a case of University of Advanced Tech is just like, okay, here are our characters. How are you going to beat them?
Yeah.
You don't see them very often.
Yeah, it is just a couple of strange picks, and honestly, Central Washington's looked pretty good so far in terms of answering back. But I think that initial lead that was gained by Smart Guy has really kind of set the pace for the rest of this crew battle. As you know, the rest of these matchups have been fairly close. So I think, again, what's in the back of my mind is how is UAT going to deal with Jaw? Because Pikachu's still in the back line, still waiting in the wings. Personally, I would send it out versus Sonic just because Tijol is such a strong tool versus Sonic. But that was the standout player for Central Washington last week, and they haven't even... One, they've maintained a lead, and 2, Jaw hasn't had to play yet. So unless the last player for UAT is really an X factor, they need to make a lead kind of appear out of nowhere right now, or else Jaw is just going to clean this up.
Yeah, I don't think that. Although, yeah, it really just comes down to who that last player on Elite University of Advancing Tech is. Like, if Nesquik can't like come back and really cement and flip the script, you get that big lead, come out and take it, do a 3 stock, or take 2 stocks, even this thing up. I mean, looking at who they got left, yeah, there's Ja, there's a Pika, a Yoshi, and supposedly a Bowser, and you just got to take into account like who is the best equipped player for this situation. I think right now in this setup, I think it's Ja.
Yeah, I think as far as playing versus Sonic, you can send out Yoshi. I mean, that we've seen Yoshidora beat Ken at the very, very highest level of play. So that matchup is far from undoable, but it is slow. It is very slow because Yoshi can't really approach in a meaningful way, and so it's a lot of baiting back and forth, trying to get those big openings and trying to convert off of anything you're given. Whereas Pikachu is able to set up that pressure with T-Jolt, which means that Sonic will have to use the iframes on side B to actually get through it, which makes it a little bit more predictable as far as intercepting that move.
Yeah, and we'll hear through the grapevine, it does look like we're going to be getting Jaws Pika up next. So going into here, we said.
We're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2
Yeah.
on predicting matchups so far, and I think anyone who's watching pretty closely would have been able to kind of figure these ones out. Being said, this is that X Factor player for the side of Central Washington. Ja put on such an amazing performance last week against the very strong North Dakota squad, and so this is going to have to be something huge out of the side of Nesquik if they want to take Ja off the board here.
Right now, we're seeing off the start 3 consecutive back airs. That's pretty big what you're looking for from Ja. Now, how is Ja going to handle the rest of the speed from Sonic? So far, so good at landing a 53%. Now the standard Ja will all the fares. This player lands more Pikachu fares than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, and honestly, we've seen Nesquik go past the ledge with Sonic's up B and use a back air a lot, both versus Horus and versus Ja. So I'm curious to see if Ja is going to actually pick up on that and punish it the next time it happens, because it should be a free kill if the read is there.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so smart.
What a call out. I mean, that was a you won't moment. He definitely down tilted his shield twice into just a raw down smash on the roll. Great pressure from Ja, and 26% worth of loops is not so bad, but probably could have gotten a little more if he had just gone for the combo.
Going back to that kill, I think it might have been a complete setup where the spacing just sort of pushed Nesquik away to the point where, if they, no matter what they do, they drop shield or roll, that down smash is landing. So honestly, I think, and down smash at ledge again.
No jump here.
Jump.
Kind of a miss from Ja, but when you're this far ahead, I don't know if it's going to end up mattering. Ja has only taken 36% so far. Just kidding. Make that 70 as the spin dash lands true, and now the percent's kind of evening themselves up, but Nesquik is at a significant stock disadvantage.
Oh, and gets the T-Jolt off stage as well.
Nesquik's been doing a great job waiting on the ledge to not get hit with those forward smashes. Pikachu's forward smash is a honestly surprisingly good move at catching kind of ledge jump, neutral get up, anything like that, and up being the wrong direction. We talked about those back airs coming out as the surprise option, and Ja is more than ready for it that time.
Ja just made that look easy. I'll be honest with you. Ja just a character as fast as Sonic and is so sporadic that can be all over the stage at any time. Ja's like, no, you're gonna be right here, and I'm gonna control you. I'm gonna put you on a leash, and you're gonna run into all these back airs and stuff. It was like pure command. Something that was like, I don't know how anybody can do that against Sonic. So well done.
I mean, it's what we come to expect from the guy. He had a standout performance last week, and taking 2 stocks off of Sonic there without even looking to break too much of a sweat, losing no stocks on his side of things. Central Washington is looking poised to take this one versus UAT, but we haven't seen their last player, and I can name more than a couple times that kind of 4th player has been a huge game changer, X Factor player. You know, we've seen players like, you know, Aaron, Polo, Quid come out on the back line and just make huge differences for squads. So you can't count anyone out on the side of UAT.
No, and it looks like between the last 2 players, we have a wild card in Seabass or Jazz Boy, who apparently is Ness. So that's a little bit of a matchup toughie for Pikachu. One of the quote unquote one of the 3 main losing matchups.
One thing we do got to note about that, though, is we saw Jaw last week play versus Jake Fox, who was an incredible Ness player, and look really good. As far as I remember, Jaw was the only person to take 2 stocks off of Jake Fox.
Yeah, I think so. This could be a case of like it's just the player is at a level where, you know, the tier list doesn't exactly matter to them. Like they know how to. I can imagine as a Pika player, you've run into enough Wi-Fi Nesses enough that you know, okay, here's what they all kind of do. Here's how I get around as Pikachu. And from that, we've seen just dominance.
Yeah, so it's great on the side of UAT, honestly, to have a winning matchup on the kind of the end of things, especially because you're looking down the barrel of a 6-stock comeback here, which is a huge ask in any matchup you could possibly ask for. But especially against Pikachu, you know, Ness, Game & Watch, it's the characters that put you in the best case scenario, but we do have to remember how strong Jaw has actually looked against Ness players in the past, and so maybe not the hope that you necessarily had going into this last one. It could go a little more grimly than you expect, but I think it's time here for this Ness to prove themselves and make this a close game.
There's a moment where you just sort of got to hunker down and hope for the best. Right now, we see the exact same start, 3 back airs with no real punish off of it. But now you're just PK fired.
Doesn't actually go too poorly with that PK fire. That could have ended in a down air and some additional pressure off stage, but they were unable to kind of, you know, capitalize on it, not expecting it to hit again. And so Jaw coming back, but taking 63% in the meantime. It's not looking so bad so far.
No. Jazz Boy doing a pretty good job of things here. Backer not going to send very far at all. Jaw's getting most of their approaches snuffed out. This is sort of that other side of the coin you see, like when the Ness actually just knows a lot more about the Ness knows how to abuse the Pikachu matchup.
Yeah, and we're really seeing these magnets come out, which means Jaw has to be very careful of when they use T-Jolt, because Ness gains health off of it all of a sudden. So that's a big neutral tool that is now kind of immobilized for you.
PK Thunder's deep off stage.
The wall jumps coming out.
152 to 74. Oh, Nair.
Oh!
Not going to kill off the side just yet.
And that's Kalos Pokemon League privilege. That's Jazz Boy's counter pick coming in against them, and luckily the forward tilt rings true, able to find the stock at only 80%, and so Jaw bleeding for the first time this crew battle, and honestly Jazz Boy looking pretty good.
Yeah, doing a real good job things here. It's a case where every time Jaw tries to, like, you know, land anything of a combo starter, there's like that. There's a back air, there's a nair, there's something Jazz Boy throws out to just get Jaw off of him.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is Jazz Boy has been really winning trades. Like, it has been very favored for Ness, where even in instances where he's getting hit with an up tilt or an up air or an air, he's getting something in return, and Ness just does so much more damage per hit that it is hard for Jaw to keep up with that sort of damage. But Jaw answering back early, and now the loops are coming out, 31%, and they just keep going. What was the lead that you thought you had?
58% loops. And a couple PK fires and the lead's gone.
Yeah, those PK fires did about as much damage as the loops.
Oh my gosh, and the dare follow-up as well.
It's nice play from the side of Jazz Boy, trying to make sure that Jaw does not run away with this, but you're really looking to finish this out with 2 stocks, because there's still another player on the back side of this, and making that 3 stock to 1 comeback is so challenging. The back throw will do it. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, there
huge. 42% off the rip, 52% off the rip, and now we're seeing these big hits coming in back and forth, but Jazzboy, like we said, trying to find this 2-stock lead and really setting up this zone very, very well.
Yeah, Jazzboy really, like you said, winning all of these trades. The down B not going to land.
The read was there, but Ness's air drift is so good, even out of air dodge, that Jazzboy was able to get out of that down B read, but the back air so deep off stage will take the stock, and that puts you in a very tough position if you're Jazzboy, because now you've got 1 stock and you're staring down the barrel of 4, and honestly, you're not even done with Jaw yet.
No, and now you see Jaw's like, okay, now I'm going to play my game. Make you approach.
Oh my gosh, offstage situation.
Punish all your approaches. Oh my gosh.
Just missing the back air on that jump, so Jazzboy will get back to the stage, and a PK Fire does get him out of the danger zone. A little bit of spaghetti on both sides will mean that Jaw ends up off stage, but the yo-yo not gonna ring true at the ledge, and this forward smash means a scary situation. That fair is so deep. I've been playing too much HDR for a second. the back air comes out, secures the stock for a second. I was like, Jaw's on the ledge, he's dead, he can't regrab. That's the wrong game. That's the wrong game. You can trump in this one.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you.
I will say that Jaw made that pretty interesting at the end. Jaw got the combos, but like I said, the biggest thing that Jazzboy had going from was they were able to win every like trade approach, fair, back air, nair, almost all of them on one time or another completely beat out Jaw's like approaching fair that they do.
Yeah,
it's like when that's like that or nair is like your combo starter to like drag down into your kill confirm. Having them snuffed out time and time again, it's got to be like, just let me get through this wall, please.
It's definitely frustrating, and it's that and Magnet are part of the reason why that matchup can be hard for Pikachu. But I think Jaw honestly is really, really happy with taking 2 in that instance. It puts Central Washington's last player in a great spot where only 1 stock is needed to close it out, with 3 on their side of things. And so if this were to go the distance, if this were to go the side of UAT, you would need to see a Herculean performance come out right now from Jazzboy.
Depending on who they send in next, it could be against a character that lends itself fine to that, as I forgot. Lacha doesn't play Yoshi.
Plays Link.
Yeah, Lacha plays Link. I have the notes right here for a reason. I still was like, Yoshi. Perfect. And forget what I saw last week. But yes, the Link coming up last as the last player for Central Washington. This is a much more difficult task for Jazzboy.
It's tough, and I think the toughest part about it is we saw last week how willing Lacha is to just throw an up B, which is an incredible kill move.
Yeah.
So Jazzboy is not only going to have to take off 3 stocks, but he's going to have to do it without getting to about 100% against a frame 7 out of shield option.
Yeah, it's good. And if Lacha's just going to do this, a couple of little jump around and just chuck stuff, it's going to be even more difficult. But
there's opportunities
300%.
right now, and the pressure is certainly on. That could have been the stock. If Jazzboy had been willing to go out for that down air, we could have seen something huge come out. That being said, not quite willing to let it rip, but you're not too mad about 65%.
oh, and the multi-hit on the dash attack, catching up a lot of people.
There's that up B we've been talking about. So prevalent on the side of Logic. It finds so much value. And honestly, something about this matchup that you expect to see on the side of Link is Nair and forward air having pretty big value versus Ness due to the disjoints, but honestly, Jazzboy has been finding just the perfect spots to fare, so it actually hasn't been that much of a factor thus far. The bomb recovery rings true.
Oh wow, lands the fair as well.
And
Second hit of it.
mistakes like that in a normal game would not matter. You wouldn't care about getting hit with that fair. But in this game where you're already down 3 stocks to 1, that 14% off the back hit of fair just means so much more, and it hurts so much more for such a tiny mistake.
But I will say, Jazzboy still staying calm and collected. They know, like, okay, I just need, just wall them out with fairs. Like, there's 43%. They've done what? Half of that, and I've already taken a stock. But now you're getting in the danger zone here, where Uppy is going to start killing very, very soon.
It'll kill right now by the ledge. And Jazzboy, he's been doing a really good job at playing at Link's pace. He's been camping him right back with those PK fires, with those kind of retreating fairs. It's been very, very strong. And in a set where things started even, it would be enough. But 130% now on the board. And this bomb set up. The forward tilt doesn't ring true, but the up smash will. And Lacha able to take out that very last stock on Jazzboy to put that up 1-0 for Central Washington.
Excellent, excellent play. Link closing it out, gets the big up smash as well. And with that, I think, are we going to go into a quick break?
We absolutely are, and so don't go anywhere, guys. This is a best of 3. Central Washington is up 1-0, and on the other side of this break, we'll see how it turns out. Can't wait. Welcome back, everybody, to Week 7 of League Play in the A-Star League for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In case you just missed it, Central Washington just went up 1-0 against UAT with 2 stocks to spare in what ended up being a pretty even crew battle across the board, honestly. It was almost like that initial lead from Smart Guy just took him all the way through. Just took him all the way to that 2-stock advantage in the end. And so I'm really curious to see if that lead isn't attained at the start. Will UAT be able to fight back? And will Central Washington be able to take another one?
Yeah, I think really the surprise in that case was Jazzboy really showing expertise of the Pika matchup. If any little bit of that, like, yes, they still like lost both stocks and they ended up on 1, but coming out a little bit earlier maybe in the whole bracket, what am I talking about, whole crew battle, that we saw they had a lot of potential. They were very volatile and they could take a lot more stocks than maybe the matchups led on to believe.
Yeah, I think we're going to be looking at Jazzboy to be that kind of big player, and we're getting the same starting roster. And so Demito, if you guys don't remember, when we first saw them, rolled into 3 rests. So if that little problem has been resolved on the UAT side of things, I expect this to be much, much closer.
Also, I think it was a case where Smart Guy was just really hot off the start. We saw Demito really sort of pick things up towards the end, but by that point they had already rolled in twice and had lost a couple of stocks. So hopefully now at the square one, Demito brings out some...
Oh, he misses it!
It rolls away, and they rolled away!
The double! Two quick ones! That is a true sing, though, and so a tough miss if you're Smart Guy on what should have been a confirmed stock.
Sort of a little bit of spaghetti, just sort of trying to land that next hit, but you're just gonna be floating in as a big pink puff, but you're gonna eat an aura sphere in the face.
Yeah, and Demito has been doing an amazing job now of putting on percentage before they're at 120%, making sure that these, when he does eventually have aura, that aura is taking stocks and not just in the damage racking kind of phase of the game. Smart Guy definitely struggling a little bit more than we saw originally.
Oh, but I think they might just sort of be baiting out options here. Now Aura, it looks like fully online.
And these guys are sort of certified swinging, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them trying to get this first stock on the board, and Air Dodge comes out and is unpunished, and that up smash also goes unpunished. Smart Guy letting go of a couple of opportunities and really, really ill-prepared for that up B into center stage.
Oh, the side B charge up, not going to land.
He expected it that time, but Demito going for the ledge. The Aura Sphere on shield with that little charge is going to mean the back air out of shield is going to come out. Now Smart Guy, the stock lead comes out once again, but much less significant than it was last time.
Yeah, I think Smart Guy knows the second time around probably have less opportunities to, get those roll-in rest reads. So already...
I mean, these jumping...
They've struggled to make it back.
These jumping Aura Spheres have been just straight up value across the board for the side of Demito. Catching Smart Guy just...
Oh, they did. That's 4.
You cannot, man. You cannot.
It didn't kill, but it's going to be the punish. Just a couple jabs.
Just a jab. 6%. Yeah, that is... I don't even know what to tell you. You need to talk to someone about that. That is... All right, the side B does come out.
They're doing a little rope-a-dope here. I like it. This is something I like to do as gaming watches, where you just like charge up Randy up smash, and as soon as you see him roll in, nice back here by the way, as soon as you see him roll in, you hit the kill button.
Yeah, that is a tough stock to lose too, because Aura was online at 130%, which meant that Demito had a great chance to try and make a comeback. Unfortunately, the back air rings true, and Smart Guy was able to confirm there's no jump, but Smart Guy misses the last fair. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Maybe should have been a short hop sing, but...
I mean, what a Dude, is it a call out? Is it a whiff? Is it what? I mean, what even happened there?
At the end of the day, though, it was a stock that you didn't have to lose that easily.
Yeah, especially at that percent against the Lucario with this little rage. Okay, he expected the roll in again. Demito jumping this time before a tech situation is even present in the counter. Actually, an interesting option that we haven't seen it all yet. Now, 80% aura will mean that Lucario's got a little juice behind these hits now. That should be it. No!
Fourth throw.
I mean, you could get so much off the back of that missed counter. Luckily for Smart Guy, the dash attack will secure that stock, as Jigglypuff's dash attack is a surprisingly strong move. But that got scary. And honestly, on the side of UAT, that went better than it did last time. You know?
Yeah.
A little bit better. Only one res.
More stock?
Yeah.
Still rolled in for a fourth time.
But at least it wasn't a sixth time. You know what I'm saying? It could have been worse.
Remind story for another time of the Falco player at a tournament I went to that got Luigi upbeat 5 times on stream.
It's just not what you're looking for. It's just not what you want. Sometimes it's not your day, but Demito showing a little bit of adaptation, making that game closer, and honestly a very, very, very clutch up smash to even take that second stock will mean that UAT is feeling a little bit better about this. What we have to wait and see is if Smart Guy is able to take a stock off the side of UAT with the one that they have, they will be in the exact same position that they were last series. And so I would like to see some sort of switch up here from UAT to try and kind of shift that balance back in their favor.
Yeah, do you think they do it by sending out somebody different, or do you think they just ask like who came in second? It was Mirth, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking ask Mirth like, okay, go out, do it again, but this time make sure you take the first stock.
Yeah.
Do you just ask for execution, or
as far as I know, he did take the first stock last time. So
true.
Yeah, they're just gonna call on him to do it again. I think that's fair enough. You know, Villager, very strong recovery against an edge guard heavy character like Jigglypuff. I'm not too mad about the choice, but Mirth really needs to make sure that this stock comes off first, because you can bet your bottom dollar that Horus is going in next.
Yeah. Now, I think it's really up to Smart Guy in this one.
Yeah, it is up to Smart Guy to do a little bit better than he did last time and make sure that this stock is taken off, without them losing theirs on the first stock. And there was that huge bowling ball punish that we actually saw come out in the last game that these two played. If that punish doesn't come out, I think it might have been a little bit closer. So there is kind of an opportunity for Smart Guy to adapt, and Mirth very smartly not rolling in right there.
Yep. It's out of get up. No, not gonna be sung on. I'm gonna put the man to sleep.
Oh my gosh, the tree! He's so scared of the tree.
I don't think that was supposed to happen, but okay.
The wood actually with the up throw could have been some sort of setup, but nothing too crazy. And now Mirth, no axe online, means the kill power is going to be a little bit lesser, but Smart Guy is really having trouble finding his way in.
But still doing a good, having trouble finding their way in and landing an attack, but still doing a pretty good job of avoiding a lot of the, typical villager stuff, except for the up smash.
I mean, really smart play from the side of Mirth, able to secure that up smash after he noticed that, those short hops or those full hops were coming out a lot from Jigglypuff if he pressured with the side B, if he pressured with the forward air or the back air using the slingshot. So I think that was just kind of pattern recognition at that point where he's like, you're going to jump. You haven't been shielding this. Let's just secure that stock. And so I think a really good play from Mirth, and instead of a lead now, it's even across the board for both of these squads. I think it is time for Central Washington to show us if they're able to win and perform without that kind of inherent lead off the back of that performance by Smart Guy.
Yeah, and really like you said, now whoever comes in next, whether it be, it's up to them to reestablish that lead. really be like, okay, things can even up, but we still have to maintain momentum and control of the entire set. So making sure that you win this next one, because if you let UAT sniff a lead, who knows if they'd ever give it back.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what's on my mind if I'm on the Central Washington side of things. When we saw this matchup last, Horus was able to take 2 stocks here without losing even one. And so if he's able to take 3, you're going back to the point where you're in the same situation that Central Washington was already in. But that is a big if. A 3 stock, much harder to achieve than a 2 stock. And so I think UAT is at least a little bit happy with this outcome, and now Mirth actually gets a run back at this matchup.
Yeah, and like you said, right there, Mirth gets his chance at the run back and show like, hey, I know what I did wrong. I missed a tech in a couple cases. I sort of just lingered out there a little too long. But at the end of the day, I'm going to show you why I can make any character, especially Joker's life, very, 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 very difficult. We're going into this game on Yoshi's. We got a little bit of tilted slants and no Rebels Guard to just beat the 11%.
Yeah, I think the Yoshi's pick is interesting because this is a stage where stocks can come off very, very early. And so I think Horus realized that they were in a good spot last time as far as taking stocks off, and wanted to kind of capitalize on how much value those Arsens got. I think what you have to be careful with here is Villager can do, a little bit of killing off off the side, and especially off the top, as we saw with that up smash. So it's not free by any means. Villager will be able to take stocks early as well.
But like you said, time and time again, it's all about making the most of your Arsene as he's out to play, 44% only. What's going to be the follow-up here? Got him at ledge. How are you going to keep him there? Down smash, or sorry, down air going to down smash. Interesting choice. Now off stage. We went for dare a couple times last time.
And the wall jump actually comes through with the big mix up the down throw. Will he be able to secure the back air? He calls out the air dodge, but isn't ready to commit to it. And the forward air comes out anyway. Mirth, that aggressive kind of wall jump back air, trying to get himself back on the stage, will actually spell doom.
In a stock's a stock. It don't matter how they don't ask how you took it. They ask if you just took it at all.
Wait, what? Down smash is off the ledge?
I think that's some Yoshi shenanigans right there.
Is it? Or does it normally do that? I genuinely have no idea.
I think it was some Yoshi shenanigans because homie was tilted.
Could be the case, and the bowling ball just missing the mark, but the roll in will be caught by the back air. And so Mirth, a better performance than last time against Horus, having taken that stock, but you've got 2 more left over, 2 more that you need to take, and Horus seems to be in the driver's seat for now.
Yeah, you gotta think, like, next time you have Arsene up, are you gonna, pull out more of the counters and the reflectors to deal with all the villagers' shenanigans? Right now, the man's just throwing the
pot,
home
man.
garden section at you.
Yeah, the 3 dash attacks in a row put some good damage on to Horus, but the Arsene now online. This is where the money has been made, and so this is where Mirth needs to be very, very careful. And going to the ledge by choice, I don't know if that's where I'd want to be.
We're not seeing a lot of back airs off stage, more so like just normal airs, which is interesting.
That is not where you want to find yourself.
No. Arsene is gone as well.
A little bit of spaghetti on the side of Horus, and so much damage coming off from that tree, and the axe actually trays off the stage bounce.
And there goes UAE holding the first lead of the match. Sorry, UAT.
Yeah, this is the first time that they've had a lead throughout the first crew battle and this one. And so now can Mirth hold on to this lead? A huge 60% combo, and Arsene on the board. And the dash attack doesn't kill, and the Aegon gets grabbed.
There's the back air.
A little bit of a greedy play on the side of Mirth will lose him the stock, but because Arsene has already been popped for Horus, and because he just took so much damage, Mirth is in a great spot to take this game.
Oh, but speaking of damage, there's 39 right there. Arsene is gone, but I have a feeling, a couple of Lloyd rockets and they'll be right on back, but you don't want to be up smashed at this percent.
No, absolutely not. Villager's got a ton of kill moves that'll come out right now, especially because the axe is online. You have to be so careful if you're Joker, especially because if you want another Shen, you're gonna have to wait a while or get a counter, but now he didn't have a jump and he didn't realize.
No jump.
What a misplay from Mirth. Horus clutching victory from the jaws of defeat. A game that by no means should have gone his way will mean that Central Washington maintains a 1-0 lead. That, I mean, if you're UAT, that's devastating.
That's brutal for UAT. I mean, like we were saying, they sniffed the lead. They smelt it. They held it in their hand for a brief second before Horus was like, no, that is ours. We will take that back. Thank you.
Yeah. That being said, they're still in a better position than they were on the last series. Horus is down to only 1 stock instead of 2, which means that if they send out Sonic again, Nesquik on that side of things, and Nesquik is able to take the first stock without losing one, they will still be in a pretty good spot heading into this kind of final bout of the second crew battle. They are in a better position, and we've seen signs of life. I think now we're really wondering, is Horus able to step up and be that person, right? Is Horus able to step up and take the stock off of Nesquik to ensure that they're in a good position going into the latter half of this?
Yeah, it's this next stock really will determine a whole bunch. Not only will it determine like when Jaw, like if obviously they take the last stock off Horus, Jaw's coming in, but Horus takes that first stock off Nesquik, and the entire complexion changes. It's like, oh, it's a 2-stock lead again, and they took it off one of our top players. They took it off like the back half player. This is going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I think, and especially because Jaw was able to 2-stock Nesquik on the last crew battle, if Horus is able to take this stock, it could set up another situation where it is a 6-stock to 3 deficit going into that final bout.
You do not want to have to go up against that again. Right now, off the start, Nesquik's looking unhittable. Never mind. As soon as it came out of my mouth. As soon.
All right,
that's another thing. That's another thing to keep in mind here is that being down so much in stocks, Joker's gonna get our send back a lot faster, which we've seen how much that aspect of the character can do. So now it's time to make the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked again and again and again about how. Wait. Oh my gosh, he could have dunked him if he had the timing on that. Unfortunately, not able to go for it, and Yarsen is going to be offline, so a great stall from Nesquik is going to mean they're feeling pretty comfortable on this side of things. They should be able to take this stock, and a bit of a risky recovery coming out from Horus. We'll get him back scot-free. What a good get-up attack. So smart on the side of Nesquik. That honestly could have been his stock had it hit, and now an offstage situation. I mean, how are you? That's tough for Horus because by all means, you should be ready for that spring. Yeah. It was super telegraphed. What else is he gonna do? You should be able to hit those techs. Unfortunately for Horus, gonna miss the tech, gonna lose the stock fairly early, and now a 6-6 going in to the latter half of this crew battle. Jaw is almost certainly coming out, but it's gonna be a matter of how well Jaw is able to perform going into this match. We saw a 2-stock last time, but Nesquik's got 3 this time around.
Yeah. And exactly, Nesquik has all 3 stocks to play with, other stocks to work with. They got essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, they essentially got 3 stocked last time, and that's what set up this whole situation. So with full stocks, Nesquik versus Jaw, how is that going to play out? I still think it goes in, obviously I still think it goes in Jaw's favor because of the way that they're playing and the way that they've been performing, especially against the Sonic. However, I do think taking a couple stocks, 1 or 2, off of Jaw really turns this in UAT's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're able to take a stock, or honestly, if you're able to take 2 stocks off of Jaw, you're feeling pretty great about this. Jazzboy put up a pretty good performance against Jaw the last time that we saw him come out, and Lacha, while taking off that last stock, did lose theirs first. So if we're going into even situations, just based on the kind of limited match data that we have, Jazzboy was able to have the advantage against both Jaw and against Lacha. So if, and this is a big if he's able to find himself in those even situations, this could be going the way of UAT.
Yeah, and now we're just kind of waiting to get into this next one. Apparently both teams are trolling us at this point, kind of. Like, oh, bump the switch. Oh, you feel that lag spike. Oh, would you have for breakfast? How are you doing? How's the wife and kids? Kind of stuff. Like, no, y'all here to play some Smash Brothers.
Smashy Bros. Yeah, I mean, it happens in this format. There's only so much that you can do about it, but we are trying to create the best environment possible for these crew battles to happen. So understandable to some degree, but they are figuring out where exactly we are on these issues. That being said, we are pretty confident about the character matchup that we got. I'm pretty sure that Jaw is going to come out against Nesquik, especially, like you said, because that 2-stock did come out on the latter side of things. Does that 2-stock come out again? Was that a kind of a flash in the pan thing? UAT has looked better bit by bit across the board for this entire crew battle, honestly. They've looked good.
They've tightened things up in certain. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely right when you put it like that. It is tightened up, right? We saw that kind of 2-stock lead kind of carry itself all the way to the end the last time we saw these teams play. Now, that lead doesn't exist. It's been even kind of across the board almost the entire time. And so because of that, I have to expect that this goes to last stock, because that's the only thing that it implies, The 2-stock lead didn't carry over in a crew battle where everyone else was even. Well, now that it's even, it seems like we're going down to the very last hit to determine who comes out on top of this.
Yeah, and if looking at it that way, you kind of saw some slight struggles Lacha had against Jazzboy at the very end, with like, okay, every approach I throw is getting snuffed out. So they were just sitting back, shucking the kitchen sink at him, trying to build that percent until they knew they could get they knew they were in kill percent, they could get that up B, or in that case that up smash. In this case, it could be a lot more of like, if you go into Jazzboy and you have to, you're holding on to what? Jazzboy has all three or whatever, and you have all three, that's going to be a lot taller task to handle. And I think that one goes out much more in UAT's favor. So
it's very, very hard to say. And I think there's room for improvement on both squads. We've seen really good stuff from Lacha in the past as well, and so perhaps a really big performance could come out of them against Jazzboy if it comes down to that, but we're not quite there yet. Not quite yet. Jaw is coming in against Nesquik on Kalos Pokemon Stadium. The Pikachu versus the Sonic. What was a 2-stock. Nesquik is looking to tighten up for this last bit of the crew battle.
Yeah, we can't put the cart before the horses right now. This Pikachu is coming out firing here. A couple back airs, and already creating a lot of space as the Sonic. All three moves to get all the way across the stage.
What is... he knew something we didn't. That was the the immediate ledge grab into rising down B when Nesquik was recovering off stage. It was a read that even the gods could not have predicted, and unfortunately for Joe, it does not work out, but the percent lead does remain in his favor, and that was very close.
Yeah, don't want to be the first one to take an early stock here. Uh-oh.
The high up B will get him back to the stage, but the down throw should lead right into the fair, and this is a tough spot to be in if you're Nesquik, but Jaw will actually fall off a little bit, which allows Nesquik to get back onto the stage, and the homing attack will trade favorably.
Oh, I think Lacha's just trying to, not Lacha, Jaw. It's kind of waiting for that Guitar Hero moment where Nesquik lines up and it's like, boom, there's the thunder. Oh, he smash gets weak hit.
He read that so hard, and unfortunately doesn't get the strong hit, but the fair will come out right after. And so Jaw on pace for this 2-stock that we saw from him last time. Nesquik needs something big to open this back up, and we've seen it a couple times now after the spin or after the homing attack, Nesquik air dodges out. So if Jaw is able to catch onto that, he will be able to start punishing that spin or that homing attack pretty hard on shield.
Oh yeah, and especially you got to be careful of that 2-frame with the forward smash as well, the big fist.
These down Bs are insane. Like, they just are complete guesses. They're complete shots in the dark, and Jaw has been unable to land any of them, but I guess hasn't really been punished for them either. And now, the long game, what both of these characters can be known for, Nesquik more than willing to wait as Jaw just throws out those T-Jolts.
Hits the second spring there.
Oh,
Wow.
My gosh. No punish somehow.
No punish from either side. Wow. The jump back, and they're breaking my ankles somehow.
Had the roll read as well, just letting it rip a little bit early, and he lived. Kalos Pokemon Stadium coming in clutch for Jaw, and now you just cannot be dropping those in that situation. Only 36% on the side of Nesquik when that stock is dropped, and with the hopes and dreams of UAT riding on the back of this Sonic player right now, you were really hoping for more of that stock. You were really hoping to take another one off Jaw, and now you could be staring down the barrel of a 3-stock. Oh no! He's got no jump. He's gonna have to up B. The air dodge is so good, Jaw! Letting that one slip away. Not expecting the air dodge onto the stage, and the forward tilt does secure the stock, but at what cost? Nesquik is so far behind now.
Just running down stage like, no, you just run against my shield. I'm just gonna grab you. Oh, there's another S smash.
Oh my gosh. So
That
close. Oh, and that reads the roll. That should be it. Okay. Just securing the up air, making sure that the punish comes through, and another SD?
Yeah.
Another one?
Yeah, I saw the air dodge, and I'm like, do you have it? Do you have it, big man?
He
Big man,
did.
do you have it?
He would have had it if he had drifted all the way forward. Unfortunately, trying to avoid an attack coming out from Jaw that didn't even end up being there will spell doom on the side of UAT. And so now, Jazz Boy, a big task ahead of him, but a task that he may be up to. We saw last time, a 6-stock deficit was turned into only a 2-stock loss for Jazz Boy. We've seen him able to go big in situations like this. This time it is only a 5-stock deficit. So if Jazz Boy is able to take out Jaw with only losing 1 stock or losing no stocks, UAT is still very much in this crew battle.
Exactly. And I think the difference maker here is going to be Jaw's approaches. How Jaw is able to get through, rising fair, a really quick back air, how they are able to get around those and just get that first thing started, because you're not going to be able to T-jolt to your heart's content because he's just going to magnet it the whole time. You're not going to be able to do some of this, a lot of the stuff you really want to, because just the way that, button for button, I think Pikachu wins. However, there's enough to sort of disrupt Pikachu on the side of Ness that makes their goal a lot harder to achieve.
Well, and things like Ness Fair beating out Pikachu Fair, Ness Nair having a lot more chunk damage than a lot of Pikachu moves, just means that Jazz Boy comes out on the winning side of trades and has a little bit of a range advantage in certain situations that Jaw really has to play around pretty carefully, because Ness also wins this matchup in the kill power department. Where you can make it happen is you're typically a little bit stronger in neutral, and you should have a stronger offstage presence versus Ness. So if Jaw is able to really capitalize on those strengths, I can see him taking 2 stocks still, but it's going to be a big ask. It's going to be harder than it was before. And so I think if I'm Lacha, I'm really warming up in the back end of things, because you're going to be looking at a more healthy Jazz Boy than you were the last time, in all likelihood.
So here we go, getting right on into it. Jazz Boy, Ja, we're going back to Kalos. Ja trying to push his team through to another and send him to 5-1. Meanwhile, Jazz Boy trying to keep his team alive, force a game 3 so that way they can hopefully go 5-2.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that both these teams have the same record, and big playoff hopes and implications come to the winner of this particular crew battle. So I think both of these guys are feeling the heat right now as this one kind of draws its final breaths.
So far, we're seeing Ja win early exchanges on this one. It's really just gonna, it comes down to that back air, how fast it is, how much it disrupts Pikachu, and then avoiding the PK fires, because you know
that's where the money is made on PK
that's where
Fire.
the money is.
Absolutely. We've seen Ness go so huge off those PK Fires time and time again. And Ja, again, with these down Bs. I would love to see one land just because he's been going for it so often. But, geez Louise, man, this is a lot of whiff down Bs. Yeah, that is a little bit of healing for Jazz Boy. And the PK Fire does come out as well. Means 100% on Pikachu. Does he live? He doesn't. I feel like he should have at 100. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think it was might have been the couple pummels that put it over the edge.
Could have been. Jazz Boy answering back in a huge way. Only 100% on this stock. The up smash will not take it, and so Ja needs to find another opening, another nair. But these PK Fires have just been hitting so often.
That's really sort of been the ticket here. It's like, now you want to be fishing for the up smashes. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Okay, dash attack will kill here, so wouldn't mind to see Ja try and find a couple of openings there. Forward air by the ledge. Up throw probably won't do it at this percent just because we're on Kalos, and so that's that counter pick of Ja actually coming back to bite him just a little bit, but at 160, this stock is definitely on borrowed time.
169, the last thing you want to do here is get into a Nest combo that's going to do a lot of rage damage.
Yeah, we've seen Ness able to take stocks, steal them away, and especially with how safe Jazz Boy is willing to play. A miss on that magnet. Now, all of a sudden, a scary spot. 2 back airs in a row. 3 back airs in a row. Jazz Boy will secure the 2 stock. 3 left on the board. Ja unable to take even 1. And now UAT, an even situation going into these final stocks. Ja has to be kicking themselves because there were definitely opportunities to take a stock off there.
Yeah, it really came down to the backers at the end. At 169, you know Ness is going to have a lot of rage. And then you just see it chunk up like 10%, 12%, another 10%. And then it's like, okay, well now I'm off stage. How am I going to get back? And even then, if they make it through that, they then are just have to avoid even more because they can't get grabbed at that point. And it was like, those last 4 hits, like really those last 3 back airs really just completely flipped momentum.
It's tough too because, I mean, by all means, that was just a hard call out from Jazz Boy. 2 in a row where Ja decided to go high and Jazz Boy more than willing to cover that option. If he had simply just gone to ledge, would have made it back a-okay, but 2 to 3 reads in a row means that Jazz Boy will secure that stock in a pretty incredible fashion to try and put UAT on the board. This guy has just been, he's been so good for this squad.
So good. Really the quintessential anchor of somebody that's like, wow, don't know how they do it, but they just keep getting stocks. They get the stocks they need to. And really now the pressure all comes down to Lacha with the link of like, okay, well last time I only had to take 1 stock. This time I got to take 3. Last time I still lost a stock before I took
Yeah.
So
it was close though, and I think you're not feeling too bad if you're Lacha.
No.
But it's not the spot you wanted to be in. You were really hoping and probably expecting to go into this with a 1 stock lead. So having to do it even across the board, Could be a little discouraging, could be a little bit frustrating.
Now just starting off. He just switched sides.
Yeah, and I expect this to be a slow game. We've seen that Jazzboy is very, very willing to just camp and throw out those PK fires, especially in the face of Link boomerangs and Link bomb. So I don't expect that to change anytime soon here.
Now it comes the struggle of how do you get back on stage. Okay, nice job avoiding the nair then. Gets the nair in return.
Oh, big fair. That's a lot of damage coming out on that fair. That move starts killing pretty early, and I think it's going to be probably the go-to if we don't see up B for Latcha to take stocks off of Jazzboy here. But this game has been so even so far until that PK fire hits, and now Latcha is deep off stage. What a
They just make
miss!
it back.
And we haven't really seen any confirms off the nair here. Link can get a jab or a run-up grab off a successful nair, so I'd like to see Latcha kind of confirm off those hits that he's actually getting instead of just settling for the one hit. Ooh, big up air.
Oh, up air.
And like, he could have blown that bomb up too. It seems like he's not expecting his moves to actually work.
Might be a case of like, see, they throw the bomb and then, oh, there's the up B.
And that is the omen. That move is so good for Link. Honestly, so any character would kill for that up B out of shield. Frame 7 kill move at 98%. It doesn't get much better than that. Latcha now taking a bit of a lead, a bit of a switch up from what we saw last time. And we said, if anyone can show up, if anyone can show that they are ready to improve and clutch this out, it is Latcha, who is kind of riding his own fate right now. Wow.
Oh, nair. Oh, I love that little nair follow-up too.
I can't believe he didn't get more off of it. He was so aware to actually go for the nair follow-up and then wasn't really ready to confirm off of the nair actually hitting. This should be the stock. The bomb recovery, you gotta know he's going for it.
Over it too. 136 though.
Yeah, back throw will kill.
Yeah, pretty much everything at this point. But that's a big fair.
And Latcha has been doing such a good job of maintaining this lead. The forward tilt.
What was that?
Why are you so deep? Why are you so deep?
I heard a footstool at the bottom of there too.
Yeah, makes it back, and these forward tilts are coming out. Now that forward tilt hits on the full crescent, but a back throw will even the stocks up, but Jazzboy is far from healthy, and up B will secure it at this point, and using the 0% sword beam. You don't see that very often. And something interesting that you can actually do with that sword beam is it actually makes your F smash do more shield damage. So you can break shields in situations that you wouldn't have otherwise. All right, up tilt should kill at this percent. Forward tilt should kill at this percent. Even a nair by the ledge is probably nearing doing it. It's just a matter of if Latcha is able to find those hits. If Jazzboy is even going to give him a chance.
I like this. Latcha is not overcommitting. Latcha is playing.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Oh! Yeah, as soon
Latcha
as you say
knows what they're
Latcha,
looking for.
as soon as you say Latcha is not overcommitting, we see an up smash just ride. And dude, Jazzboy is just waiting. He's literally just waiting in the corner for Latcha to do something. He will make it back to the ledge. And Jazzboy done such a good job of evening it back up. He started this stock at 120%. Latcha cannot find the killing blow, man. Oh my god. If that had been it, I would have been mad. And a back throw now again will kill. That'll do it. Jazzboy takes the lead after what was an incredible start from Latcha.
Star spot nair. Well,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
finally, just the
How?
tip. The very tip.
And it comes down to last stock. Oh my god, he almost SD'd 0 for no reason. It comes down to this last hit. We called it. As soon as this crew battle went to even, I couldn't have envisioned it going any other way. Jazzboy on the precipice of this 5-stock comeback. Latcha trying to secure it for the side of Central Washington, but it has been all Jazzboy all the time, ever since he hit 120% on that last stock.
Yeah, it's a case where Latcha just can't get any combos or anything started. It's just all like errant stray hits that just have to lead into like a big hit.
Yeah, he has.
Meanwhile, Jazzboy can just do whatever.
He really hasn't gotten anything going, and it just comes off the back of a pace change from Jazzboy. And I think it's worth mentioning, if Jaw had had a stock here, this crew battle would be over. But instead, that big performance from Jazzboy has put this back into the realm of possibility, and kind of a miss, but the neutral get up, ill-informed, the air dodge is so bad, but Jazzboy unable to punish it. The forward smash comes out. Oh my god, these nairs are about to go so crazy. We're getting close to that throw kill percent, if not there already. Lacha has to be so worried about that, and he's not really at a percent where anything other than a gigantic stray hit is going to kill.
All that you can cut the
my
tension
God.
with a knife.
You can see how nervous both of these guys are. It could not be closer right now. Link definitely has some crazy kill power, and oh my god, just holding
Just
shield.
sat there shielding.
Oh, he just missed the roll in. It was so close, and now at the ledge, the pressure is on. The jump is used. He air dodges. What's the option? The forward tilt just out of range.
Oh, so much.
Oh, he's back at the
There.
ledge. He jumps in aggressively, but the forward smash! The aggressive landing from Jazzboy, who had not been giving up anything that entire game, finally overextends, and Lacha is more than ready somehow in that last stock situation to capitalize on that slight over-aggression. Central Washington. A sigh of relief from them as they go up 2-0 for the victory in the crew battle to go up 5-1 on the season. I'm out of breath. I'm sure you guys are on the edge of your seats.
My mind is currently melting. That was an incredible show of patience and a bunch of stuff I got to ask their team about going into this thing, because my goodness.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
That was insane. And so Central Washington, congratulations. It was a hard-fought battle. UAT almost bringing that back, so props to them. But guys, don't go anywhere, because we're not quite done. On the other side of this break, we're going to have an interview with the winners. We'll see you then. welcome back, everybody. In case you just missed it, we just saw Central Washington take it 2-0 over UAT in what could not have been a closer final couple of moments. And who more fitting to have on the interview than Lacha himself, the man of the hour, the clutch god. How are you feeling, man? I just gotta ask how you're doing after that, because I was clenched certifiably.
Okay, so the funny thing is, I used to play Melee a lot, and I had a big habit of choking during crew battles. So it's been really fun to be in this group, and at least most of the time, last week being an exception, not choking.
Yeah.
But my only question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No. My only question is, going down in that last stock situation, how do you personally maintain composure and patience when you know, okay, one mess up, I'm getting back thrown, and we're going to a game 3?
Okay, so the thing about that was I noticed that he wasn't hesitating on going for the grab, so I was just thinking to myself, okay, so I just avoid any situation where I can. And as long as that happens, the Ness is the one that's going to get way more stressed about it, because Link can just kill off of anything. So it's really calming in that sense to just be like, yep, my character is really good. And he can just kill off stray hits. So especially in those stressful situations, I'm generally way calmer because I have bomb recoveries to live forever. I have kill power. And as long as I'm moving pretty well, I have solid neutral. So it generally feels kind of calm in that respect.
That's cool. I mean, it's interesting to just kind of hear how you were so kind of in the zone, especially having Link on the other side of things. I think my question is, you talked about it briefly, is you guys suffered your first loss last week. We actually were watching that on this side of things as well. How does it feel to kind of take a loss like that and then come back and come back with a win this week instead? What was kind of the mindset going into this, and what did you guys do over that week to make sure you guys were ready for this week?
So it's funny because this one we actually were playing without our best player, Pearlescent. He runs everything over here in terms of locals, so that was actually, so it was kind of interesting in that respect. Smart Guy clutched up. Was actually playing with him earlier this morning, just offline, and did so well. It was super exciting. On top of that, I think we went to, four of us went to a tournament last week, just a regional. So that was a good spot for improvement. We just play a ton offline, and overall it was just like that. All right, don't want to deal, if there's even a chance that we don't have to go through the last chance qualifier, we're going to try and take it. So that was largely what was going through our minds, at least for mine.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's about all the questions I have. So for you, Lacha, do you have anybody you guys want to shout out, say thank you to? Floor's yours.
Kind of already mentioned it. Shout out to Smart Guy for clutching it out. Some sick plays. I think also shout out to Johnny Quantum, our main manager person. He got a lot of this started up for Siwu Esports, and that's really fun. It's extremely exciting that we're kind of going through that growth period, and then the Smash crew is still has so many heavy hitters. So it's actually been really cool. And I also want to shout out Link for being not the worst Link. It's young Link, by the way.
You did not
Toon Link. That's some.
You did not just say that. Cut the stream. Cut the stream.
Who gave this person a mic? Who let this person in here? His takes are too hot.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lacha, on that side of things. We really enjoyed getting to see you guys play this week and last week, and I'm sure we'll see more of you guys as the playoffs roll around. So congratulations on the win today.
Thank you. Hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
You as well. As we come to a close, we hear about the composure, the practice, the brackets attended by these teams in the wake of loss to prepare better for the future. We hear awful takes about Link's placement on the tier list, and yet we march on forward. So for those of you who joined us this week for NACE Star League, thank you so much for for joining us on this week 7 of League Play. I have been Nurse, and as always, I am joined by Maximus. We will see you guys on the other side.